Hey guys, Hussein and welcome to YouTube channel. So in this video, we are going to be learning crazy amount of stuff about users, like how to create a user, how to update a user, how to delete a user, how to make an admin user, how the admin would be able to delete a user or update a user or create a user, and how to get all of the users and what is JWT and how Bcrypt.js works and all of that, both for the front end and also for the backend as well. And we are going to be also testing all of our API by using our Postman right here. Okay, so just wait for it, baby. Now let's get into it. So the first thing which I want to do is that I want to get to this index.js file right here, and I wanted to create my own API endpoint. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove that, and I'm going to use app.use right here in this case, and I'm going to start my conversation from API and / users right here, and here we are going to be passing a user routes right here. So I'm going to create this user routes right in here. Let's just create a file given name of like user routes.js, and I'm going to also create it for the model, so user model.js, and I'm going to also create one for controllers, so user controller.js right here. So I guess that would be fine. So now let's get into it. So the first thing which I want to do is that I wanted to create the model for my user, like how my user should look like. What are the requirements which the user would have? So for that, I'm going to have to create a model. So I'm going to just go ahead and create like import mongoose from mongoose, and also user schema, like how our user should look like. So we are going to be passing mongoose.schema. Okay, and inside this schema, we are going to be passing all of the properties which the user should have. Okay, so I did a bit of mistake. Let's just remove that from here. I'm gonna the user should first of all have the username, and it should look like this. The type will be set to string, and also it should be required. Like anytime you want to create a user or update a user or delete a user, the name should be required. And the next thing which you want to get from the user is the user email. Okay, so we are going to be setting the type to string. Okay, the user type will be set to string, and it should be required. Like anytime you want to sign in or log out or anything like that, your email will be required. And also the email should be unique, UNIQUE, because anytime you want to create a new user, you can provide your email again and again. Your email should be unique. And now let's just work with the password. Okay, so the password type will be set to string, and also it should be required, so required will be set to true. And now the final thing which I want to do is that the user is going to be admin or not. So we are going to be just checking the type, and it should be set to boolean. Okay, because here we are going to be either passing the true or the false value, and it should be required as well. And also the default value for this is admin will be now set to false. Okay, because by default the admin cannot be, what do we call it, the person cannot be admin. So now let's just provide our timestamps. There we go. And now let's just set that to true. Okay, let's just go back, and this is how our user should look like. So this is the schema of our user. So user will have a name, the email, the password, and is the user admin or not. And here we are also passing our timestamp right here. So anytime we either create a user or delete a user or update a user, so it will give us that specific time. Anyway, so that's that. Now let's just create a model based on that schema. So now let's just write a user, and it should be equals to mongoose.model, and inside this model we are going to be passing our user right here. And now let me just pass my user schema which we created a few seconds ago up above. So now let's just export our model. Okay, so now let's just provide, come on, I'm gonna have to go back. Let's just provide our user, and there we go, baby. That's it about for the user. So the next thing which I want to do is that I want to create a user routes. Okay, so once we create that routes, then we would be able to do all of that stuff for the user, like create a user, delete a user, and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to first of all get my Express right here. Okay, so once we get Express, so now let's just create our router right here. So I'm going to just write Express express.router, and now let's just export that right away. There we go. Not import, but const router. There we go. So the first thing I want to do is that I want to create a route for creating the user. So I'm going to write router.route, and here it should be equals to / like just a home page. So what do you want to do? First of all, we want to provide, and we want to set there to post, and here we are going to be passing the create user. First of all, we want to create the user, then we would be able to do all of that stuff with that user, like updating the user credentials or deleting the user or doing anything we want. So I'm going to copy that, and now let's just create that right here inside our controller. And now let's just create that controller right here inside this controller file, or yeah, file. There we go. So the first thing I want to do is that I wanted to get my user model from the models. So gotta go back 2 times, I guess, and let's just go to the models and user model.js. So that's the first thing. So now let's just create our user. So I'm going to just write create user, and it should be what do we call it? Or you know what, before we getting into creating the user, first of all, let's just create our async handler, and then that would be it. So I'm gonna go into their middlewares right here, and now let's just create a file given name of like async handler.js. I'm gonna hit enter right here, and now let me just create a simple async handler for myself, like async handler, and it should be equals to, it will take a function by the way, and we are going to be passing the parameter of request, response, and also next, because this should be a middleware. And here you can also see we are writing, or we are creating this file inside this middleware right here. Okay, so this should be a middleware, that's why we are passing this next to it. So now let me just use a promise.resolve, and here I'm going to just pass my function, and this function will take the request, the response, and also the next. Okay, so I'm going to just pass my catch right here. So if you got some sort of error, so what do you want to do with that error? So now in this case, we just want to write like res.status, and it will be now equals to 500. And now let's just send over message as or JSON. So I'm going to just write message and error.message right here. Okay, so now we successfully create our async handler. Now let's just export that right away. So async handler, there we go. So I'm going to save this file, and that's it about async handler, baby. And now let's just use this async handler inside this controller. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create the user, and it will be now equals to that async handler. Oh, it is not auto completing it for me, so I'm gonna have to import it manually. Import async handler from let's just go ahead 2 times to middlewares and go to async handler, and now let's use it async. Come on, man. Async handler, it's not giving me any help or whatsoever. Oh, that's because we are using import instead of const. HuXn, what the hell is wrong with you today? And here we have to specify async keyword, request, response, and now let's work with it. So the first thing which you want to do is that, oh, you know what? Before we getting into the nitty-gritty of creating the user, I'm going to just write res.send of hello. I'm going to save this file. Now let me just export default this create, or you know what, not default, but just export the create user. I'm going to copy that create user from this user controller file. I'm going to go to the users routes file right here, and now underneath that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just import or you know, not underneath that, but underneath this express, I'm going to just import this create user from what do we call it, this controllers right here, and user controller.js. So I'm going to copy that, I'm going to place it right here. Now let's just save our file, and now let's just run it. So I'm going to use npm run and backend. I'm going to hit enter, and now let's just test oh, we are getting a user routes. That's because we did not create a user routes, or we did not import rather. I'm going to have to import that right here. So I'm going to use import user routes from, let's just go ahead and go to the routes, and then I'm going to go to the user routes.js, save my file, and now let's just test it. So I guess this time it would successfully work, and everything is successfully working, baby. I'm going to go ahead and now let's just save this file right here, close this one, and change the name of that to like create user, and I'm going to change the method to post. Let's just close that, and inside yeah, or you know what, let's just click on this send button, and it is giving us that cool little error. That's because we are not going to the API/user. Was that users or user? I'm not sure. Oh, users plural. Click on send, and hello, everything is successfully working, which means like the routes are attached, the controllers are attached, and also the user model is here right here. So now if you want to create the user, the first thing which we would need is the username. The second thing we would need is the user email and also the user password anytime we want to create a new user. And we are going to get that from the user, so that's why we are passing that request.body right here. So I'm going to just log that to the console real quick. So I'm going to use like user name, and then we would have our user email, then we would have our user password. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and let's just close that, clear terminal, and everything should look cool. All right, that's look cool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the body, then click on the raw, then select the JSON right here, and I'm going to just pass first of all the username. Let me just pass the username right here. Username should be equal, not should be, but username should equal to like, not should, username would be equal to Alex, and also the user email will be equals to like I don't know, alex at gmail.com or something. And then we have password, and password will be equals to like I don't know, alex12 or something like that. And now if you click on this send button right here, it will just hang it right here because we are not sending anything. And now here you can see the username is Alex, the user email is alex at gmail.com, and the user password is alex12, which means like everything is successfully working totally fine. I'm going to remove that from here, so I'm going to also cancel that right here. So that's that. So now we are successfully getting the user response from the user. So the next thing which you have to do is that we have to check, or we have to provide a little bit of validation. If the user did not provide either the name, or the user did not provide the email, or the user did not provide the password, so what do you want to show to the user? So we just wanted to throw a new error to the user like, bro, what the hell are you doing? Please fill all the inputs, and period. So now I'm gonna save that, and let's just check it. So I'm not gonna providing anything in this case, and I'm gonna just click on the send, and here you can see we are now getting this message which is saying like, please fill all the input fields. Or in this case, let's suppose if I just provide one input field right here, just Alex for the name, and now if I click on the send button right here, it will still say like, bro, what the hell, please fill all of the inputs. So I'm gonna just place all of them right in here. Come on. And it will say like, yeah, you are totally allowed to create a new user. But that's not it. We are getting all of that data. Where are we getting all of that data? I'm gonna have to save that, close it, click on him. Oh, we are getting the data, but we are not logging that data, or we are not doing anything with that data. So that's why that was hang. Anyways, so underneath this validation, the next thing which you have to do is that we have to check for the existing user. So if we already have an existing user based on their email which the user is providing, so we would just want to throw a new error to the user like, bro, this email is already used and you cannot reuse this email once again. Okay, so for that we have to first of all get the user like already created user. So I'm going to use like const user existed, exists would be fine, and await user dot find one, because this is a mongoose method and it will allows us to just go ahead and go to our database and check for the email. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that if we get some sort of error like that, or if we get this kind of validation, so if user exists, so what do you want to do? We just want to send this message to the user like, first of all, status of 400 already defined, send, and user already exist, EXISTS, there we go. Gotta go back, and now let me just use that, and we cannot test that because currently inside our database we don't have any users, like no users, nothing. So that's why we cannot test that. Okay, so here we are not even getting any. Oh, come on, I just created a test. I didn't mean to create a test. I gotta go back to the env file, and it should be HuXn store. I'm gonna save that. God damn it, I literally forgot that. I'm gonna have to drop this database right here. Let me provide the name of test. Yep, drop it. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to restart my server. Why is that? Because currently I changed the .env file, so I have to restart my server once again. Okay, so yeah, everything is working totally. Not dev, man, I didn't mean to provide a dev. npm run backend, just a backend, not a dev. Okay, so it will start our backend server, And now let's just refresh that, and here you can see we are now getting this HuXn store right here. Inside this HuXn store we have a users, and we don't have no documents right here. Why is that? Because currently we are just getting the user data right here. We are providing a little bit of validation to it, and also we are just checking for the existing user, but we are not creating our user anywhere. So now let's just do the final step, how to create a user. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write like const and new user, and it will be now equals to new and user. What is that user? This user is that model which we created right here, like how the user should look like. The user will require the name, the email, password, and admin right here. So this is how we are going to be creating a new user. All right, so that's that. So the next thing which you have to do is that we have to provide the properties for that model right here. So we are going to be passing the username, the user email, and also the user password right here. Okay, so which is coming from the user. So the user will provide the name, the email, and also the password. We are going to be providing all of that credentials right here, and based on that credentials it will create a new user for us right here. Okay, so that's that. Now let me just provide a try and catch block. So I'm going to use try and catch block like so. If you got some sort of error, so we are going to be just writing restart status of 400, and also throw new error of invalid user data. And if you don't have any errors, so we are going to be just writing like await new user. This is the variable which we are creating right here, and it will be now equals to .save. Okay, and this .save is a mongoose method which allows us to store this new data to the database right here. Okay, or that specific collection. So that's that. I'm going to also provide some sort of a message for the user, so that user should see like something did happen. Okay, so we are going to be just writing to1 created, and here we are going to be just passing the ID first of all, new user dot ID, which mongoose will gives us by default, and also the username will be equals to the new user dot username. And I'm going to also provide the email, and this is just a result so that the user can see something right here. Okay, so we are going to be just writing the email, and it will be now equals to new user, and then we have to specify the email. Okay, and is the user admin? No, the user is not an admin. I said it like a horror movie. No, I'm gonna have to save that. And now the moment of truth. Okay, so I'm going to click on this send right here, and guess what? The user is successfully created. So we are now getting the user ID, the unique ID which mongoose will gives us, and we are also getting the user name, the user email, and the user is not an admin, which means like our user is successfully created. So I'm going to have to go back, and now let's go into our MongoDB right here. Let me just expand that, and now let's just refresh that right here. So here you can see we are now getting one document. So if I click on this document, we are getting the user new ID, we are getting the user email, we are also we are getting the username, we are getting the user email, we are also getting the user password. But that's not cool. Like anybody can have access to our database, and anybody can see their password or someone else's password, and they can say like, yeah, this is the user email, this is the user password, and they could steal our password. Like, I don't know if you can hear that. So yeah, they can easily hack someone else's password. It's not hack, like they can literally just see the someone else's password, and they can log into that user like as that user, the user email and the password. This is not cool. This is a big or a huge no. You are not going to be doing that ever. Okay, so we are going to have to close there, and now let's just provide our salts to it. Okay, so salts by using a bcrypt. So I'm going to first of all get my bcrypt right here. So I'm going to use import bcrypt from the bcrypt.js right here. Okay, so not like so, but just a bcrypt.js. There we go. I'm going to save that, and now let's just use it right here whenever we are creating a new user. So the first thing which you have to do is that we have to provide some sort of a salt, or you can say a mixture, into our password. So you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the MongoDB once again and open the user once again. So what is a salt? A salt is just a random, like random things, like a random numbers and characters which are going to be including this password. Like here you can see, can you recognize, is that your password? No, because we provide a lot of salt to it. So I'm gonna have to go back And now, can you recognize the password? Yeah, of course you do, because this is just Alex and 12, and the salt, if you provide a little bit of salt to it, like a random numbers and gibberish right here, can you recognize the password? No, you cannot. So yeah, now let's just provide that salt to it. Before we getting into providing the salt, first of all we have to create the salt. So I'm going to just write const salt, and it will be now equals to await and then bcrypt, which we imported a few seconds ago, and then we have a method inside there which is a gen salt. Okay, and here what do we have to do? We have to specify the amount, and rounds you have to provide the either a number or undefined. So we are going to be providing like 10 is recommended. You can provide 100 if you want, but it will slow down your application because a lot of salts are not that much cool thing to provide. So I'm going to just provide 10 in this case. You can provide like more than that if you want to. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just hash that salt. So I'm going to use const hashed and then password, and it should be now equals to await, and then we have to use our bcrypt, and then we have to use that hash method right here. So the first thing which you have to do is that we have to specify the string where you want to add that salt. Okay, so in this case we are only interested in providing that salt to the password which the user is giving us. Okay, so we are getting the user password, we are taking that and we are putting it right here. Okay, so once we put that right here, then we would be able to provide that salt to it. So what we have to do, I'm gonna have to copy this salt and we have to place it right in here. Okay, so that's totally done. Like once we log this, so it will give us a random gibberish. But the next thing which I want you to keep in mind is that once we are creating a user, we are not going to be just providing the user password. Instead, we are going to be providing that hashed password. So I'm going to copy that, and here as a password property we are going to be just passing the hash password, because in this case we cannot just write a hash password like that. We cannot write our code like this. Why is that? Because in this case it is requiring the password right here. It is not requiring the hash password, it is requiring the password. So we have to specify that property right here, that password property, and then we have to set that to the hash password right here. Okay, so that's done too. And now let's just try it. So I'm going to save this file. I'm going to also cut the space and save this file once again. And now let's just try to create one more user. But before we do that, I'm going to have to restart this server once again. And everything is successfully working, totally okay. And now let's just try to create one more user like myself, like HuXn. Or you know, I'm going to create myself later. So I'm going to just create a John. And yeah, John would be fine. So I'm going to just change that to John. Yeah, John is fine. So I'm going to also change that to John12 right in here. Okay, so I'm going to just click on the send button, and guess what? It is now giving us the ID, unique ID. The username is set to John, the email is set to john@gmail.com, and bro is not an admin. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just refresh that right here. And now I'm going to go to the second person, and what are you seeing? john@gmail.com, and what the hell is that? I don't even know what the hell is that. Okay, this is called this is called a hashed password. Nobody can recognize this password. Even though if they can have access to our database, they cannot figure out like what in the world is going to be the password. On the other hand, if I show you the Alex one, let me just open the Alex. Here you can see like Alex is totally cool. Like you can get his email and also the password. You can hack him in a second, and not the, what do we call it, not the John, because John hashed their password. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to right click on the Alex and delete him. Okay, so now let's just delete the Alex. That was just for demonstration purposes. So now let's just close both of them out. Let's just refresh them, and both of them is working totally fine. So we are going to have to first of all get the user data, and then we have to provide validation check for the existing user. Oh, I forgot to show you the existing user. Let's suppose we already have what do we call it, this John right here inside our database. But let's suppose if you want to create this John once again by using this same email right here. So now let me just click on that, and here you can see it will now give us this message like user already existed. You cannot recreate this user once again by that email right here, which we specified right in here. Okay, so this is how we are going to be creating the user. But there is one more thing which you have to keep in mind, which is how to create a token and how to set that token to the cookie. So let's just do that real quick. So I can do that inside this file right here, but you know what, I'm going to create that inside this utils right here. So I'm going to just create a new file, give a name of like I don't know, create token.js. Okay, inside this create token file, I'm going to first of all get the JWT from JSON web tokens, and now let's just generate the token. So I'm going to use like const generate token, and it should be now equals to response, and also I'm going to provide the user ID right here. And now let me just pass my arrow function, and here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to first of all create a token. So I'm going to just write const token, and it will be now equals to jwt.sign. And if you don't know what JWT is, so you can go ahead and just quick Google search there, and it will give you a lot of great resources right here. So the first thing which you have to do is that we have to provide a payload, either a string or object or buffer. Then it will take a secret private key, and which is currently set to null. You can also provide the options, and we will provide options right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to first of all provide the user ID, which we are going to be getting from the user. And now let's just provide some sort of a, or you know what, we're not going to be providing it right here. I'm going to go ahead to this env file which we have right here, and now let me just create it right here, that I don't know, JWT secret, and it will be now equals to some sort of a secret. I'm gonna set that to A B C D E F blah blah blah. I guess this secret will be fine, so I'm gonna just close that, and I'm going to use like process and .env and then JWT secret. Okay, and here I'm going to just provide expiration date, so when this token should be expired. So I'm going to just provide like 30 days. Okay, and that's it. This is how we are going to be creating a token. Now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to set the JWT as an HTTP only cookie. Okay, so anytime we create a user, we want to pass that cookie to the our headers. Okay, so as a cookie, so we are going to be just writing like res.cookie. And if you guys don't know what a cookies are, so you can just quick like watch a video and you can learn it, I don't know, 5 minutes or something like that. Then we have to specify the token, and then we have to specify the HTTP only. Okay, and it will be now set to true, and also secure will be also set to process .env, and I'm going to create that in a second, node.environment variable. If that's not the case, so what do you want to do? We just want to change that to development. Okay, so you know what, I'm going to go ahead to that .env file once again, and now let me just create this node.env. So node.env will be currently set to development, so I'm going to just write development right here. So now let me just save that, and also I'm going to have to provide, come on man, I'm going to have to provide the same site, same site, and it should be now set to strict. Okay, and now let me just provide a comma, and maximum age I'm going to provide of 30 days. So I'm going to write 30 times I don't know, 24 times 60 times 60 once again times 1000 right here, so it will give us 30 days. And just finally, optionally, we have to just return the token. Okay, and then let's just export that token right here. So export default of generate the token. There we go. So I'm going to have to go back, and this is how first of all we are going to be creating the token, and this is how we are going to be setting that token as a HTTP only cookie right here. Okay, so that's that. And now let's just use the inside our controller. So I'm going to get that from create token from, let's just go ahead and go to the utils, and then I'm going to go to create token.js right here. And the next thing which I'm going to do is that underneath, once we save our data to our database, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write create token, and it requires two parameters. The first parameter it requires is the response, and then the second one it requires as a user ID. So I'm going to just specify the response, and the user ID will be now set to the new user, and here we are going to be just getting the user ID right here. Okay, so now if we save that, and now let's just check this out. But before I do that, I change a lot of things in an env file, so I'm going to have to restart the server once again so that we don't get any clashes. Okay, so this is a John. Now let me just recreate this Alex once again, and I'm going to just write Alex and Alex12. There we go. So I'm going to save that and click on the send, and here you can see we are now getting this cookie. This is our JWT. We give a name of like JWT right in here. Let me just show you that we have our JWT cookie right here, and we have our token. The value will be now set to our token, which is getting there. And then we have our header files right here, and then we have our headers, and here you can see the set cookie is now set to this JWT and this cookie right in here. Okay, and it is HTTP only, same site will be strict and all of that, which means like everything is working totally okay. So now we successfully logged in as this person, so that's why we are getting this cookie and all of that, which means like not only Alex is successfully created, but Alex is already logged in by using this cookie. So I'm going to just close that, and this is how we are going to be creating a new user in Express.js, and we are going to be validating the user and all of that. Alrighty, so that was it about how we are going to be creating a user, and now let's learn about the logging in and the logging out of the user. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write router.post, and we are going to be just posting to the auth. Okay, so like we are going to be authenticating our user, and yep, in this case what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just provide a login user right here. So I'm going to copy that, and let's just grab it from the controller. So I'm going to just create that controller right here. So I'm going to write login user, and I'm going to just write async handler, and I'm going to provide my async keyword request response, and boom. And now let me just register that right in here. So the first thing which you want to do whenever the user want to log into our website, so we just want to get the user email and the user password right here, okay, from the request.body. Okay, so when we get that, first of all, you want to check for the existing user if you already have one. So we just want to write const existing user, and it will be, come on, existing user, and it will be now equals to await and then user model, and we are going to be using this find one method of mongoose, and here we are going to be just checking for the email if the email already existed. So what do you want to do? We just want to print to the user if email existed or the existed user. So first of all, you want to use the bcrypt compare method right here. So let's just use const is password valid. So we are going to be just checking for the valid password, and we are going to be checking await bcrypt, come on, bcrypt, and then here we are going to be using a compare method, and we are going to be first of all providing the user enter password. Then we are going to be going into the database and checking for the existing user dot password right here. Okay, so if that's valid, like if we already get the user, if the user provided a valid password, like here the user is going to be providing the password, then we are going to be checking that password inside our database. If that's true, like if this is a valid password, so what do you want to do? We just want to check if valid password or password valid, whatever you want to call that. So we just want to create the token, and we just want to provide the response, and we also want to provide the existing user, and we just want to provide the ID to it. Okay, so it will just generate a token for us, and it will set that token as a cookie into the header. Okay, so that's that. The next thing which you want to do is that we want to show some sort of a message to the user. So I'm going to just copy that, and we are going to be pasting it right here, but instead of a new user, I'm going to just change that to existing user, and that's it. I guess that would be it. And now here we are going to be just writing a return statement right here, and let's just write a comment for ourselves like exit the function after sending the response. Or we don't have to write that. Let's just remove that from here. We don't have to write that. Let's just remove it, save our file, and this is how we are going to be doing or logging in. So the first thing that you want to do is that we want to get a user email and password. Then we want to check for the existing user if we already have the existing user. So then we want to compare both of the passwords, like the user enter password and our existing user password, like the password which is already available inside our database. So if that's true, so what do you want to do? We just want to create a token, and we want to set that token as a cookie, and finally we just want to show some sort of a response to the user. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just create a new route for myself. Let's just close that, and I'm going to just create one more request right here, give a name of like login or something like that, and let's just change that to post, and I'm going to also copy that and place it right here. And what was the route? I kind of forgot the route. The route was auth. Okay, so instead of writing yeah, we have to just add the route right here. So currently if I click on the cookies right here, so here you can see we have that cookie. When we were creating a user, I already told you like we are not just creating a user, but we are also logging in that user. So I'm going to just remove this JWT from here, and now let's just try to add or try to log in. So I'm going to just go ahead and go to the body, and then I'm going to click on the not a binary but on the raw, then click on the JSON. And what is required? The required statement was the username not the username but email and password. Here you can see the email and the password. So I'm going to just write email, and the email was, I don't know, I'm going to just log in as a John, and I'm going to just write john@gmail.com, and the password was John12. Okay, so now I'm going to just click on this send button, and here you can see we now successfully log in as a John. So here you can see we have our ID or username, email, and admin is now set to false. Okay, so now if I click on the cookies, and here you can see we have our JWT or value is now set to this token, and we also can check our header right here, and inside this header we have a set cookie, and which is set to this JWT and this cookie right here, which means like everything is successfully working. So now I'm going to just click on that, and let's just close that from here, but it will show it right here, because for that we have to just close this tab and we have to reopen that. And now I'm going to just click on it one more time, and now I'm going to log in as Alex right here. So I'm going to write like Alex and Alex12. Now I'm going to click on this send button one more time, and here you can see we now successfully log in as Alex right here. So we have ID, the name, the email, and everything right in here. Okay, so that's cool. So I'm going to just save this file, which means like this function is totally done. So the next thing which you have to do is that we also have to write a code for logging out. I'm going to write a post because we are going to be posting. So I'm going to just write log out in this case, and I'm going to just write like log out controller, or not controller but log out current user would be fine. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go ahead and import it from our controllers. Let me just go into this controllers folder. I'm going to just place it right here, export that, and now let me just create that. So I'm going to just first of all write a async handler, and let me just pass my async request response, and also res.send of hello would be fine in this case. So I'm going to just save that, and I'm going to create one file, not file but request. Let's just copy this one, and let me just place it right here, change that to post, and this one should be log out. There we go. So now if I click on send button, so it will now give us that hello right here. Why is that? Because we just written that hello inside this controller. So I'm going to just remove that, and let's log out the user, and it is quite simple and easy. Why is that? Because inside our response we are setting the cookie, and we are just getting, well, I mean like we are just searching for this JWT cookie, which we are getting it right here. So I'm going to just click on this cookie. So here you can see the cookie name is JWT, and the value is this cookie or whatever you want to call that. Okay, so we are just searching for this JWT right here, and the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to just set that to empty string, and now let me just provide the HTTP only. It will be now set to true, and I'm going to also provide the expires, and it will be now set to new date, and let me just provide a 0 to it. Okay, let me provide a comma, and underneath that I'm going to just send some sort of a response to a user like status of 200 success status, and JSON would be now set to like some sort of a message logged out successfully. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just click on this logout, click on him, and here you can see that cookie is successfully gone from here. Let me just click on this cookie, and here you can see we don't have any cookies right here, which means like the user successfully logged out. Let me just log in as John once again, John, and we have to just write like John. I'm gonna click on him, and here you can see, let me just expand that. Here you can see we have this cookie right here, and we have this cookie right here as well. So I'm going to just click on him, and I'm going to go into this logout right here. Let me just rename that to log out, and here you can also notice that logout right here. So I'm going to click on this send button right here. It will remove that cookie from here, but if I go to that login once again, here you can see that is not removed because we didn't close that. We have to close that once again. And once we reopen that, let me just reopen that like so. And now if I click on the cookies, and here you can see that cookie is gone. So I spent a lot of time figuring out like what the hell is wrong. I'm successfully logging out the user, but what is going on? Like when I come to this link, let me just do that once again. I'm gonna just log in. Here you can see we have our cookie right here, and here you can also see we have our cookie right here. But if I just log out, so I'm going to just click on him, and log out successfully, which means like this is working totally fine. But if I come to this login once again and click on the cookies, and cookie is totally gone, but here you can see that cookie right here. So what do you have to do? You just have to close that and you have to reopen that, and then you would be able to see that cookie is gone and the user successfully logged out. Okay, so that was it about how we are going to be logging in and how we are going to be logging out the user. Alright, so the next thing which I want to do is that I want to work with authentication and authorization. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create one more middleware for myself. I'm going to give a name of like auth middleware.js, and inside this file I'm going to just create an authentication and authorize as an admin functions right here. So I'm going to just import first of all JWT from JSON Web Tokens, and I'm going to also get my user model right here, and I'm going to also provide a JS right there at the end, and I'm going to also import my async handler from the async handler. So the first thing I want to do is that I wanted to authenticate the user. So we want to check for the user credentials, and also we want to check for the token. So if the token is valid, so the user will be able to log in and log out. And if the token is not valid, so what do you want to do? We just want to throw some sort of an error. So now let me just create that function like authenticate, and it will be now equals to async handler, and I'm going to just pass my async request response, and there we go. And I'm going to also provide a next thread because this is a middleware, so we have to provide our next right here. So the first thing which I want to do is that I wanted to create a variable, set that to token and totally undefined. So then we have to read the JWT from the JWT cookie. Okay, so now let's just do that. We are already providing this JWT right here. You already saw that. So once we log in, here you can see we have our cookie, we have our JWT cookie, and we have a value of that cookie right here. Okay, so you already know that. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just set that token variable to request.cookie.jwt. So what are we doing in this case? We are going to the request, and inside this request we have this JWT. We have these cookies, and inside these cookies we have this JWT specific cookie right here. So we are just getting that. So the next thing which we are doing is that now we have to check if the token is valid. So what do you want to do? We just want to provide a try and catch blocks right here. Let's just go back so you guys can see everything a bit better. And here for the catch block, I'm going to just provide like res.status of 401, and then I'm going to just write like throw new error of not authorized authorized and token failed. There we go. And what else do we have to do for the else clause of this if statement? So we just want to write like res.status of 401, and I'm going to also write like, let's just copy that and let me just pass it right here, and not authorized, and in this case I'm going to provide no token. Like if the user didn't even specify the token, so they are not authorized. Alright, so for the try block, we just want to decode the JWT. So I'm going to just write decoded JWT, and we are going to be using, and it will be now equals to JWT.verify method, which we have from the JWT. So we are going to be first of all specifying the token which we are getting from this request right here. And the next thing which we have to do is that we have to use that process.env, and we have to match that, or what do we call it, JWT secret, which we've created right here inside our env file. Here you can see that JWT secret. There we go. So we are going to have to pass that right here. So the next thing which we have to do is that we have to get the user. So request, come on, lowercase request and user, and it will be now equals to await and user and find by ID. This is a mongoose method, and we are going to be just passing the decoded and then the user ID right here, and we are going to be just selecting the password. So not provide the password, and anything else should be there. And here we just have to specify the next so that we can go to the other request or to the other middleware or controller, whatever you want to call that. So this is the authenticate method, not a method but a middleware right here, which we are going to be passing into a request. And now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to check for the admin. Okay, so I don't know, check for the admin if the user is admin. So you know, let's just remove these comments. So I'm gonna just write like const authorize, authorize, I guess authorize would be fine, authorize as an admin. So we are going to be just specifying the request and response and also the next. Why is that? Because this is a middleware. Okay, so now let's just check if request.user and request.user.isAdmin. if we have the user and the user is admin, so what do you want to do? We just want to go next. Okay, if not, so what do you want to do? We just want to write like res.status and for one, and then let's just send this message like not authorized as an admin. There we go. So now let me just export both of them out. So export, first of all we have to provide that authenticate, and then we have to provide that authorized admin. Alrighty, so that's it about how we are going to be creating an authenticate middleware and also authorized admin. So now we are going to be creating routes based on that middleware. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write like import authenticate and also authorize, come on, authorize admin. There we go. From where? From, let's just go ahead to our middlewares, and we have to get it from the auth middleware.js. I want to make sure that the names are correct, so I'm going to have to copy this name. Let's just place it right here, and I'm going to also copy this name and place it right here, so which means like everything should work. Alrighty, so that's that. Now what do we have to do next? The next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get all of the users, okay, like all of the users from our database. So we are going to be just writing like I don't know, get all you, come on, not like that. I'm gonna have to provide the get method right here, and here the user should be authenticated, like the user have to provide their email address and also the password, and also the user should be authorized as an admin. Okay, so authorized as an admin. If the user is not authenticated or the user is not admin, so what do you want to do? We just want to show their errors which we already created. And if the user is authenticated and authorized as an admin, so we just want to get all users. There we go. So I'm going to copy that. Let me just place it right here and go ahead and create it. That controller, I'm going to paste it right here, and now I'm going to use async handler and create it async request response, and bang. So if you wanted to get all the user, this is quite simple and easy. So we just want to write like const users, and it will be now equals to aware and users model or user model, and we just have to use that find method and just provide our empty object, which means like give us everything that you got, and let's just provide our users right here. Okay, so now I'm going to save that. Let me just create one more request right here for all of the users, but this should be a get request. I'm going to have to copy this one. Let's just copy that. And instead of providing the auth, we are going to be just providing API users. Click on him, and we are getting cannot read a property of undefined reading JWT. But why is that? Get all the user. Oh, I just forgot that S right here. It's cookies, and I was just writing cookie. Let's just save that. God damn it, man. And I'm gonna have to click on this button, and let's just see. Okay, we are not authorized as an admin. We gotta first of all authorize as an admin. So I'm gonna have to log in, and you know what, before logging in I'm gonna create an admin user right here. So instead of writing Alex or something like that, I am the owner of this project. You already know that HuXn is the owner of this project, so he should be an admin. So I'm gonna start HuXn12. Let's just create this new user right here. So I'm gonna create HuXn right here. He is not currently an admin, but he will be in a second. So I'm gonna go to the MongoDB. Let's just refresh that. Where is HuXn? Here you can see the king right here. So now let's just make him admin right here. So I'm gonna save that, and now we will be successfully able to do that. But before I do, I'm gonna have to save this one. Log out, just remove all of the cookies, log in as an HuXn, I mean like as an admin. So I'm gonna just write HuXn here, and I'm gonna write HuXn12 as my password. Very strong password, by the way. So I'm gonna just click on this send button, and here you can see we are getting HuXn, and here you can see the admin is true, which means that I am admin. So now I'm gonna go to get all the users, or let me just rename that to get all or all users. There we go. And now let me just click on this send button, and here you can see we are now getting all of the users which we currently have inside our database. So we have our John, we have our Alex, and we have HuXn right here, the king. Alrighty, so that's that. Alright, so that's cool. So next thing which you have to do is that we have to get a specific user data, and we have to update that specific user data. So I'm going to just write router.route, and here I'm going to just set that to profile. There we go. And I'm going to just write a get method, and the user should be authenticated, then they would be able to get the current user profile. If not, then we are going to be throwing that error like not authorized, no token find, or something like that. Okay, so now I'm going to just place it right in here. Okay, I'm going to save this file. Now let me just export that controller right here. Now let me just create that controller, const, and boom 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 async handler, async request response. And what I'm going to do is that first of all I'm going to get the user, so I'm going to write user aware, and then I'm going to use the user model find by ID, and this is a mongoose method. So we are going to be getting the user by request.user, and here we are going to be just getting the user ID. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write if user. So what do you want to do? Like if this is valid, so what do you want to do? We just want to show this to a user like fetch.json, and here we are going to be just providing the ID. Come on, the ID, and ID will be equals to user and then this ID. And we also want to show the username to the user like user.username, and we also want to show the email to the user like user.email. There we go. So what if that's not the case? So what do you want to do? We just want to write rest status and 404, and then throw new error and user not found. There we go. So I'm going to just save this file, and now I'm going to create one more request right here. So I'm going to just write add request and get or current user profile would be fine. So let's just close that. I'm going to copy this auth, not auth, but this URL right here, and let me just paste it right here. I'm going to provide a profile, and this should be good. But before I do that, we are getting this data by using this ID, so we have to specify the specific ID to it. Okay, so we have to first of all log in as someone. So let's just check the cookie, remove that, and I wanted to log in as Alex right here. So first of all we have to log in like Alex. I'm gonna write Alex12, and boom. So now we successfully log in as Alex. So now let me just save that. And now we logged in as Alex. So now let me just click on the send, and here you can see we are getting the specific information. So we are getting all of the data which the Alex has, like the Alex ID, the Alex email, and also the Alex name right here. So this is cool. Now let's just update this data. So we are now successfully getting this data like a specific user data. So now let's just update the specific user data. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead, or post method to be precise. So I'm gonna just write like, or not post, update, because put, because here we are updating our user. So we are going to be just writing a put, and the user should be authenticated, then they would be able to update update current user profile. Okay, so if the user is not authenticated, then they would get some sort of an error. Okay, so now let me just pass it right here, import that, and now let me just go ahead and provide it right here. And let me just create it right here. So const update user profile, and it should be equals to async handler, and let me just provide an async keyword request response. And now let's just update our current user. So I'm going to write const user, and it will be now equals to await and user. Let's just get, what do we call it, find by ID of request user, and now let me just get that ID, but user dot ID. There we go, just like that. So what I'm going to do is that now let me just check if you have the user. So we are going to be checking the user username, and it will be now equals to request.body.username. And if that's not the case, so we just want to stick to the old user name right here, like username. Okay, so let me just say that once again. Come on, username. There we go. So username. There we go, username. So first of all, we are checking if the user provide a new username. So we are going to be changing the existing username which we currently have inside our database, which we are checking right here. So we are going to be setting that newly added username, and we are going to be setting that to the old one. And if the user did not provide the username, so we are going to be just sticking to the previous old one. Okay, so this is what's going on behind the scene. And the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write user.email, and it will be now equals to request.body.email, and it will be, and if that's not the case, so we just wanted to check the user.email, or not check, but we just want to stick to the old one. Okay, so yeah, that's cool. Now let's talk about the password. So if you have request.body.password, so what do you want to do? We just want to check the user password, and it will be now equals to request.body.password. There we go. So underneath that, we are going to be updating, or not updating, but we are going to be saving that user, that new data to the updated one. So now underneath that, what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be saving that data which the user provided, or updated data. So I'm going to just write const updated user, and it will be now equals to await user.save method. And now let's just execute that right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write like res.json, and I'm going to specify the ID right here. So updated user ID, and I'm going to also provide a username, and it will be now equals to updated user.username. Okay, and also I'm gonna write an email. So this is just to show to the user like, yeah, you did something. Okay, so I'm gonna just write updated user email, and I'm gonna also write is admin no, or yeah, whatever. So updated user dot is admin right here. Okay, so that's that. So what if that's not the case? Now let me just save that. We are checking this if statement right here. I mean, like, we are checking this if statement right here, and we're writing all of that logic. But what if the user is not provided? So what do you want to do in that case? So we just want to write an else clause and write a res.status of 404 and throw new error and user not found. There we go. So I'm going to just save that. Let me go back so you guys can see everything a bit better. So first of all, we are getting the user from the database. And then what we are doing is that if we already have the user, so then we are just changing the user data. Like if the user provided a new username, so we just want to change this existing username to this newly added username. But if the user did not provide this new username, so we just want to stick to the old one. And also same applies for the email. And here we are checking if the user provided request.body.password, so we just want to change this existing password to this newly created or newly added password. And finally, we are just saving that updated data to the database, and then we are showing that data to the user right here. And if the user is not defined, so we just want to show this to a user like user not found. That was a lot of talking. So I'm going to just create one more request right here, and I'm going to just change that to post because we are going to be sending the data. Let's just copy that. Come on, man, what the hell did I do? Let's just copy that and place it right here, and this is post. So we have to post some sort of a data. And now let me just click on a JSON, and boom. So what do you want to do? We just want to change what? We wanted to change the user email, or you know what, we want to change the username and email, just a username and email, just like that. So I'm going to just write like a username, and here I'm going to just write like John Doe and provide a comma. And the email in this case, I'm going to provide like I don't know, jd@gmail.com or something like that. So this is going to be the updated data. So I'm going to just click on the send button, and we are getting some sort of error. Oh, that's because we are logged in as someone else. User.post. Why are we getting this error? Oh, this should be put. Come on, man. This should be put. Now let me just click on that. And here you can see we are now getting the username of John Doe, and we are getting the email of JD right here. Okay, so now let me just show you there real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and go to my database. Let's just see, and here you can see John Doe and JD rather than that John. Here we are getting the John Doe and JD right here, which means like everything is working the way we expect him to work. All right, so that's that. And I guess I was about to do something else, but I forgot what was that. Not quite sure about that. Or you know what? Let me also show you how to change the password of the user. So I'm gonna just provide a comma, and password I'm gonna change that to like I don't know, some sort of like JD123 would be fine in this case. So I'm gonna just write come on, JD and 123. Okay, so now I'm gonna just click on this send, and it should be changed. Let's just save this file, and I'm going to log in as a JD first of all. So let's just log in, and the password I'm going to provide is there JD123. Come on, man, JD1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now I'm going to click on the send button, and it should authenticate. Oh, I guess we are not logged out. That's because we are getting this error. So first of all, let me just log out successfully. Now let me log in as a jd@gmail.com. Why are we getting this sending request? And why is this set to pending? Let's just close that and see what's going on behind the scenes. Click on... Oh, look at that! We are not decrypting our password right here. Oh my god, I was just thinking like what the hell I was doing wrong. We are not decrypting our password. Let's just do that, baby. Let's just decrypt our password, then we will be able to save that. I'm gonna just, I guess, copy all of that out, or you know what, that two line would be fine. And go ahead, and I'm going to just place it right here. Yeah, I'm gonna cut that from here, and let me just place it right here, and here I'm gonna just paste the hashed password. There we go. So now if I save that, let me just restart that once again. So npm run and backend. Now let me just restart there, and I guess at this time it would work. So first of all, let's go ahead and log out everyone. Then I'm gonna just log in as JD. I guess I'm gonna have to remove this user from scratch. I'm gonna have to remove this user because we already messed up with him. Let's just remove this user from our database. Say bye-bye to him, and let's just create him from scratch. John, and here I'm gonna just write John and John. 1, 2, 3. Let's just click on send button. So user already existed. We remove that user. We remove that user. Did we did we change someone else? Oh god damn it, we already have John. You know what, let me just create one more user like banana or something like that. Banana and banana. There we go. Banana 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm gonna just create this banana. Oh right, so we are getting some serious error. You know, instead of header, let's just rerun that once again. There was a lot of errors. So now let's just click on him, and here you can see we are now getting banana. Everything is working. So what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna just go ahead and change the user data. So let's just update this from banana. I'm gonna just update that to like, I don't know, mango or something like that. So we already logged in as banana, and we already set the cookies and everything. So I'm gonna just write mango@gmail.com, and mango 1, 2, 3 would be fine. So now let me just update that, and here you can see we are now getting mango, and everything is working the way I expect him to work. And now what I'm going to do is that, let me just check, are we even working with the mango? Yep, we are working with the mango. So I already forgot to show you. I want to change the password to like mango. Yeah, I already changed the password to mango, but I forgot to show you that. Now let me just go ahead and go to the MongoDB. Let's just refresh that. We have this mango right here. We have this mango@gmail.com, and we already have this password right here, decrypted password. All right, so that was a huge error to solve, you know what I'm saying? So that's it about how we are going to be getting a specific user and how we are going to be updating a specific user data. Now let's learn about how we are going to be updating a specific user from the admin side, and we are going to be also deleting a specific user from the admin side, and we are going to be also getting a specific user from the admin side. All right, so I'm going to just write router.route, and now I'm going to just specify the ID right here. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about the deletion, or you know, getting the user, or you know, let's just talk about the deletion. So I'm going to just delete a specific user. So the user should be authenticated, and the user should be authorized as an admin. Then they would be able to delete a specific user. If not, then they cannot delete a specific user. Okay, so delete user by ID would be fine. So I'm going to just write a message or comment, admin routes, boom, boom, boom. Let's just write it down, bang. That's cool. So I'm going to copy that and go at the top, and now let me just place it right here. Go ahead, and now let's just register that right here, bang. Const get user by, or not get, but delete user by ID. Const delete user by ID will be now equals to, come on, async handler. I'm going to provide async request response, and it will be now equals to const user. First of all, we gotta get the user from the database. Find by ID, provide a request dot params dot ID. In this case, we are going to be providing the ID. Why is that? Because here we require the ID of the user. So here we have to provide the user ID, and we are going to be getting that user based on this request param and ID. You will see that in a sec if you don't know that already. So yeah, that's that. And now the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to just check if you already have the user. So what do you want to do? And if you don't have the user, so what do you want to do? Okay, so I'm going to just check once again. So if we have the user and if the user is admin, okay, so just take care of that. We don't want to delete the admin user. The admin is a powerful person. So yeah, I'm gonna just write res and 400 and throw new error, and I'm gonna write like cannot delete admin user, because admin is a top G and top G cannot be deleted. So I'm gonna write await and user dot delete one, and here we have to just specify the ID and user dot let's just get the ID. Okay, so we are going to be deleting that, and this is the mongoose method which allows us to delete a single person from the database. So we just want to delete one single person, so that's why I use the delete one method right here. So if the user is deleted, so we just want to show this message to a user like message and user remove from our database or something like that. And what if that's not the case? So we just want to write like trace.status, and I'm going to just write like 404 and also throw new error and user not found. There we go. So I'm going to just save this file, and I'm going to create a lot of users first of all, then I would be able to delete some of them. Okay, so now let me just create some arbitrary users right here. So this is a new user, so I'm going to just change that to update user, and I'm going to create one more right here, and this one will say like delete user. And you know what, excuse me, you know what, I'm going to just create a new folder right here. How to create a new folder? Oh, there we go. I'm gonna have to click on the add folder. I'm gonna give a name of like admin, because admin would be able to delete a user, update the user, and all of that. So now let me just click on this route right here, change that to delete, not patch, delete. There we go. And I'm going to also copy that. Let me just place it right here, and I'm going to just specify the user ID. But before I getting into the user ID, first of all, let me just create a lot of arbitrary users right here. So that was banana. Let me just create an orange, and the email will be orange, and then password will be orange123. Okay, so orange is successfully created. And now let me just create one more. I don't know, Jordan, come on, Jordan Peterson or something like that. So JP or Jordan P would be fine, and I'm gonna just write Jordan 1 2 3. Let's just create that. I'm gonna create one for, I don't know, Post Malone and Post Malone would be fine, and then Post Malone 1 2 3. And I'm gonna also create a 21 Savage, one of my favorite one, 21 Savage, and let's just create 21 Savage at gmail.com and 21 Savage 1 2 3. Okay, so yeah, we did create a lot of users right here. So the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to get their ID right here. So we have 7 users right here. So let's suppose if I want to remove this 21 Savage, so I'm going to just copy that. Let's just close that from here. Let's just close this one from here, and here you can see we have 7 users inside our database right now. So now let me just remove one. I'm going to pass this 21 Savage ID right here and click on assign, and here you, oh, not authorized as an admin. So first of all, I have to log out, and then I have to log in as an admin. Admin is HuXn. In your case, it should be you if you wanted to, but if you like me and you want to put my name, that would be amazing. Okay, so now let me just log in as admin. What's going on? I guess I changed the admin credential. Yeah, I guess I did. Let's just see. Do you want to have our, yeah, our admin? We have HuXn, and excuse me, I guess I changed the password to something else. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just delete this admin from scratch. Okay, So I'm gonna have to delete this admin, and then we have to recreate that admin once again. So what I'm going to do is that let's just go ahead and create the HuXn WebDev, and boom, let's just create him. Save this file, and now let me just check it out. Refresh that, and we have HuXn right here. Now let's just check or set that to true. Save there. I logged in as an admin, and now I would be able to delete this user. So I'm going to just click on send, and user not found. That's because do we delete that or something bad happened? 21 Savage. So I'm going to copy that. Now let me just place this ID right here. So it should be deleted. User not found. What the hell is that supposed to mean? User request are params, man, params. What the hell? These small silly mistakes just waste a lot of my time, and I'm just wondering, like, where the hell did I make a mistake? Let's just remove that, and user successfully removed right here. Okay, so this was the first user which I have deleted. Refresh that, and here you can see it is now currently set to 6. We have HuXn, and now let's just remove this Post Malone as well. So now let's just remove him. I really love this guy. So I'm gonna have to click on send. User successfully removed, and here you can see it is 6, but now if I refresh that, it is set to 5, which means, like, yeah, we are totally able to delete the user, but we have to be authenticated and we have to be authorized as an admin. Okay, so that's that. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to get a specific user. So I'm going to just write get, and the user should be authenticated and authorized as an admin, and then they would be able to get a user by ID. Okay, so now let me just get a specific user by ID. Let me just place that right here at the top. Go ahead and create that controller right here. Okay, so I'm going to just create it right here. Const and come on, god damn it. I even forgot the name. What was the name? The name was get user by ID, and it will be now equals to async handler provide or async request response, and boom. So the first thing which I want to do is that I'm going to just write like a user, and it will be now equals to await and user model and find by ID. Okay, so we are going to be specifying the ID like request our params, and here we just want to get all of the data, but we don't want to get the user password because that's not appropriate. So now let's just write user and rest.json, and we just want to show or see the user. Otherwise, if we don't have any user, so we just want to see or we just want to provide like 404 throw new error and user not found. There we go. So I'm gonna just save that, and now let's just create one more route for the user, and inside this user folder I'm gonna create the add request, and let's just not log in. Let's just copy that. Let me just place it right here, and it was set to get, but we just want to get a simple user. I don't know, orange would be fine. So I wanted to get an orange, so I'm gonna just place the orange ID right here. Let me just click on the send button, and here you can see we are now getting all of the data based on that orange. So here you can see we are getting all of that orange data right here when that was created, when it was updated, and all of that. So now let's just save it there and change that to like get or user by ID will be fine, I guess. So let's just remove all of these routes like the other routes right here. And yeah, that's that. Now the next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to update the user by ID. Okay, so we just want to get the user and we want to update that specific user. Okay, so I'm going to just write put request right here, and the user should be authenticated and authorized as an admin. Then they would be able to update the user. So I'm going to just write update user by ID would be fine. So I'm going to copy that, and now let me just go ahead and place it right here. Okay, now I'm going to go inside there, go to the bottom, export that like so, and now let me just create the const update user by ID async handler for the async request response, and boom, come on. I'm going to first of all get the user, so I'm going to write await, and it will be now equals to the user model, and we are going to be using the mongoose find by ID method. And here we are going to be passing this request our params once again, and also the ID. So now let's just check if we have the user. So what do you want to do? We just want to change the username excuse me, username, and it will be now equals to request.body.user username if the user already provides some, and if not, we just want to write like the previous old one, like a username. There we go. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to write a user email, and it will be now equals to request.body.email. If not, then we want to check the user email. There we go. I'm going to also search for the user is admin as well. If I want to make him admin, so I can. If I don't want to make him admin, so I don't have to. So now let me just write request.body.isAdmin. Okay, so that's that. Yep, so let's just write const updated user, and it will be now equals to aware and user.save right here. Okay, so we just want to save this user, and lastly, let's just provide some sort of a message for the user like, yeah, you did something, admin, you did something. I'm gonna just write updated user. There we go, and we just want to get the user ID. Okay, and also I wanted to get the username, like which kind of user we updated. So we are going to be just writing updated user, and let me just get the username. Let me put a comma, and I'm going to also get the email, so updated user, and I'm going to also provide the email right here. And now let me just provide is admin, and here updated user, and then is admin. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that's then. Now underneath this one, if that's not the case, like if we didn't found any user, so we just want to copy this code and paste it. We just wanted to copy that code, and let's just place it right here. Okay, so user not found. I'm going to save this file, and finally the moment of truth. I'm going to write an add request right here, and let's just copy this one, bang, and here this should be update user, or specific user would be fine rather. But now let's just update a specific user, like I don't know. And by the way, here you would notice like we cannot change the user password. That's because that's because the admin is not supposed to change the user password. So that's that. What I was doing, yeah, I was going to go to the database, and now let's just change the Jordan Peterson to John Doe or something like that. So I'm gonna just copy that not this one. I'm gonna copy this ID right here, and let's just place it right here, and change the user name to something like I don't know, instead of a Jordan Peterson, I'm gonna just change that to John Doe, John, or I don't know, what the hell should I give him? You know what, John Doe is fine, John Doe. And also user email will be equals to johndoe@gmail.com. And I'm going to also, yeah, we cannot provide a password, so we don't have to specify the passwords. We can make this person as an admin if you wanted to, but I'm going to just click on the send button, and here you can see we are now getting the John. Oh, yeah, we are getting the John Doe. I just thought that I just logged in as a John Doe, and I'm changing myself. So now let me just check the Mango, and here we are getting the John. And we should be getting a John Doe. Yeah, here you can see we are getting a John Doe. We are getting the johndoe@gmail.com, and we are also getting the bro password right here. Alrighty, that was a lot of talking, and that was it about for the backend of the users. So what we learned in this section, we learned about how to create a user, how to authenticate the user, how to authorize as an admin, how to get all of the users, how to log in, how to log out, and how to get the user profile, and how to update a specific user, how to delete the user as an admin, and how to get a user as an admin, and how to update the user data as an admin. And we also learned, or not learned, but we also did a lot of stuff on Postman right here. Oh, you know what, let me just change that, or rename that to, I don't know, HuXn store or something like that. I don't even know how to rename that. Yep, there we go. Control E to rename that in PC. So I'm going to just rename that to HuXn store, and bang. Okay, so yeah, I guess that would be it for the backend. And now let's begin our journey with the front end of these users. See you in the next one. Alright, so that was it about backend for the users. So now I'm going to just start work on the front end, and I'm going to create a few folders first of all. So I'm going to just write components. Then I'm going to create one for the pages, so I'm going to just give a name of pages. Then one for the Redux toolkit, so I'm going to give a name of like Redux. And I guess that would be it. So inside the pages, I'm going to create one more folder for the admin. And now let me create one more for the auth. So I'm going to give a name of like auth, and also one for the user. So I'm going to create one for the user. Now inside the auth folder, first of all, we are going to be creating a navigation, and then we are going to be creating like login component and register and all of that. So now let me just create the navigation. So navigation.jsx right here, and avig there we go. So I'm going to just write RAFCE, and I'm going to save this file. And also I'm going to create one file for navigation.css, and this is going to be the only time where we are going to be using .css extension. Okay, like later we are not going to be using .css anywhere, so this is going to be the only place. So I'm going to just hit enter right now, and I just copy a few lines of css, so I'm going to just place it right here. And you can also get this css from my GitHub repository, link will be in the description below, or if you want to just pause the video and write it by yourself, so that's cool too. So the first thing which we are doing is that first of all we are providing a navigation container which we are going to be using in a few seconds. So this is the ID, and first of all initially we are just setting the width to 4%, and then we are providing a little bit of transition to it, and also where is the overflow will be set to hidden. Okay, then we are just selecting that navigation container one more time when somebody hover over it, so we just want to increase the width, and here we are providing that transition specifically for the width. And we are going to be also selecting the nav item, and first of all initially it will be set to none, and we are just setting the display to none. We are providing a little bit of transitions to it, and when somebody hover over it, so we are just setting the display to block and the opacity to 1. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to just close this file right here, and now let's just start work on our navigation. Or you know what, first of all let's just go to our app.jsx right here. Yeah, I know I just changed that a bit, so I'm going to grab a few things from, so now let me just grab a few things. So I'm going to just import first of all the outlet from the React router DOM, there we go. And I'm going to also get my navigation component which I just created right here, and I'm going to also get my toast container from React Toastify, there we go. This is going to be the main component, and we are going to be wrapping all of our what do we call it, the app component from this toast container. You can read the documentation of that if you wanted to. So the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to also import React Toastify, and let's just go to the disk folder, and now let me just get my React Toastify.css file right here. So I'm going to just save this file, and now let me just come here and remove this h1, and let's just render our toast container right here. And I'm going to also just render my navigation right here, and then I'm going to just write min. Let me just give him a padding for the y-axis of 3 would be fine, and inside there I'm going to just render my outlet right here and save my file. Okay, so now here you can see we are now getting this navigation, but there is one more thing which you got to do first of all, then we would be able to go to navigation. So I'm going to go into the main component first of all, and yeah, I did change a few things right here, so I'm going to have to go back, and now let's just import a few things. So the first thing which I wanted to import is route, so I'm going to just get my route, not router but route, and now let me just get my router provider from the React router right here. So that's that, and I'm going to also need the create routes from element. Okay, elements, there we go. And we are going to also get the create routes from the element. Okay, so that's that, and we're going to also need what do we call it, the create browser router from the React router DOM, and that's that. Okay, so the next thing which you have to do is that we have to create a router. So I'm going to just create a router, and it will be now equals to create browser router, and inside there we are going to be also writing a create routes from the element which we just imported a few seconds ago. And now let me just write my route, and the path will be just go to home, and I'm going to also specify the element, and in this case we are going to be just passing our app right here. And now let's just close that right here, and I'm going to just remove this app from here, and inside this render we are going to be providing what do we call it, our route provider. But before I do, why am I getting this? Okay, I guess yeah, we didn't close that. We gotta close that right here. Okay, so that's that, and I'm going to just specify my route provider, and now let's just specify our router, and it will be now equals to the router. Okay, so now let's just close that. I'm gonna save this file, and I guess that's it. So that's it for the setup for now. So let me just save this file and refresh. Everything is working totally fine, but why are we getting this cool error? Now let me just run npm run front end, hit enter, and now let's just see what's going on. And let's just refresh that, and we have our navigation right here. Cool. So everything is working the way we expect him to work. The next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get a few things. So I'm going to just get my let's just import the use stand, and we're going to also need a lot of icons right here. So I'm going to use AI outline home, and I'm going to also use the AI outline shopping, and I'm going to also get the AI outline login, AI outline user add, and AI outline shopping art. There we go. From where? From the React icons. And let's just go to the AI right here. Underneath that, we're gonna also get our FA heart. So FA heart from where? So we want to get that from the React icons, and let's just go to the FA right here. Underneath that, what do you want to do? We just want to get our link as well. So now let me just get the link from the React router DOM. And also I forgot to get my CSS as well. So let's just go ahead and get the navigation.css right here. So I'm going to just save this file. And these are the things which we need just for now. And I guess we are going to also import, what do you call it, the use navigate as well. So I'm going to just use like use navigate from the React router DOM. Alrighty, so that's that. And now let's just start working on our main component right here. Okay, so we are going to be creating our dropdown, and we are going to be also creating our what do we call it, sidebar. So first of all, let's just create a hooks for that. So I'm going to just write what do we call it, dropdown and open, and let's just set the dropdown open. There we go. It will be now equals to the use stat, and currently it will be set to false. And let's just duplicate that and change that to the show sidebar, and let's just change that to set show sidebar. There we go. So underneath there, we are going to be creating a few functions which will just allow us to toggle the drop down and also the sidebar. So I'm going to just write one for the toggle drop down, and it will be now equals to this arrow functions right here, and set drop down open. And now let's just provide the explanation mark and provide our drop down open right here. Okay, so I'm assuming that you are probably aware of that. Let's just duplicate that right here. And I'm going to also create one for the toggle sidebar as well. And here, instead of passing that drop down, I'm going to just pass my set show sidebar right here. And let's just pass our show sidebar right here. Let's just create one more for the, what do we call it? Let's just create one for the close sidebar. There we go. And here we're going to have to pass what do we call it, set show sidebar right here, and change that to false right here when it is closing. So see, come on, close sidebar. There we go. I'm gonna save this file for now, and I guess this is the time to get into the JSX right here. Let's just write a lot of JSX. We cannot see any results right now because currently we don't have anything right here to work with. So inside this div, I'm going to delete that first of all, and I'm going to provide the style right here. So I want this component to come at the top of everything. So I'm going to provide a z index of 999, and now let me just provide a class name of what do we call it, let's just see, or show sidebar. If we have our sidebar, so we just want to provide the hidden class to it. We just want to remove that. If not, then we have to just provide a flex class to it. Okay, so that's that. Now let's just go out from there like so. What the hell am I doing? Let's just save this file. And now here, what do we have to do? We have to write the rest of the JSX or the classes. So for the large screen, what do you want to do? We just want to provide a flex for the there was for the extra large, and for the large screen, we also want to set that to flex. For the medium screen, we just want to set that to hidden. For the small screen, we just want to set that to hidden too. And let's just provide the flex of column and justify between, and also padding all around will be set to 4. And text will be set to totally white, and let's just put a background of totally black to it, and the width will be initially 4%. There we go. Okay, so when somebody hover over it, so what do you want to do? We just want to provide a width of 15 to it. So I'm going to write like 15%. There we go. So I'm going to also provide the height of 100 VH, and let's just fix that. Okay, so I'm going to save this file, and we cannot see anything because currently we are not hovering over anything. So let's just provide some sort of a content right here, or let's just save that. And yeah, we still can see that. So let's just write a little bit of CSS, or not CSS. Let's just write a little bit of content right here. But before I do that, underneath that, we are going to be also specifying the ID to it. So the ID was navigation container. There we go. Navigation and container. So I'm gonna just write a flex, and let me just give a class of flex column, and the justify will be set to center. I'm gonna also specify the space for the y-axis of 4. Okay, so now inside there we are going to be creating a few links. So let's just close that right away, just like that. Oh no, not like that. Yeah, just like that. So it will go to the home. Okay, and I'm gonna also provide the classes of flex and items of center, transition, and transform. And let's just provide a transform. There we go. And I'm going to provide a hover state to it, so translate that to the x-axis of 2. Okay, so that's that. Now inside these classes, or inside these links rather, we are going to be rendering our AI outline AI outline home. Okay, just like that. And now let's just close that. But I want to increase the size of this icon, so I'll just write like I don't know, size will be now set to 26. And I'm going to also provide a few classes right here. So I'm going to just provide a class of margin for the right of 2, margin for the top of 3 rims would be fine. And I guess that's it. That's just for the icon. And now let me just write a span with a class of hidden first of all. And I'm going to also provide one for the nav item name, and also one for the margin top. And this is going to be an arbitrary value. So we are going to be just passing 3 rims. Okay. So that's that. And inside this span, we are going to be just writing home. And let's just close that like so. I'm going to save this file and refresh. And I don't know why this navigation is not showing on the screen. Let's just right click on him and see what's going on inside a console. So what are we doing? A request module, node modules white, and does not provide export name. AI outline shopping cart. AI, come on. OUTLINE shopping cart. So let's just save this one. And what else? AI outline, come on. AI OUTLINE user error. Let's just save that and refresh. So here you can see we are now getting our navigation, and initially its width is set to 4% right here. So we just specify that 4%. Where is that? Here you can see it is set to 4%. But when I hover my mouse over to it, it is setting to 15%. So if I hover my mouse over to it, here you can see it is setting to 15%. And when I hover my mouse over to this icon, here you can see we are now getting this translate of x to 2, which we just specified right here. Okay, so that's that. So now I'm gonna have to just duplicate that a few times. One for the shop, one for the cart, one for the favorite. Okay, so let's just change this one to the shop. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just provide a shop right here. And here we have to render the AI and shop. Shopping was fine. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's cool. So instead of home, I'm gonna just change that to shopping, or shop would be fine rather. So I'm gonna just change that to shop. And now let's just change this one to the cart right here. And AI outline shopping cart, this one right here, and this one should be a cart. And here this one should be a favorite, so favorite, not favorites but favorite singular. Okay, so here we just have to provide our fa heart, which we just get separately. And let's just put our favorite. Yep, I guess that would be it. So I'm gonna just save this file. And here you can see we are now getting all of their navigations right here. So if I click on home, it will just bring us to home. If I click on the shop, it will bring us to the shop. Let's just go ahead and click on the cart. It will now bring us to the cart. If we click on the favorite, it will now bring us to the favorite right here. So let's just go back. And now what do we want to do? We also want to provide, what do we call it, our register and login. So I'm going to just get my UL. Inside this UL, I'm going to get my li right here. Inside this li, I'm going to get my link, and let's just close that. And it will go to the login screen, which we are going to be creating in a few seconds. And now let me just provide the classes, or you know what, instead of just writing there, I'm going to duplicate one of them. So I'm going to just copy, I don't know whichever you want to copy, and now let me just place it right here, and it will go to the login. And here let's just change that to, what do we call it, the AI outline login. Okay, so login, there we go. And let's just duplicate that one more time, but not just a link, we have to duplicate the li entirely. So now let's just change that to register, and here let's just change this one to the AI outline user add. And now I'm going to just save that, but before I do, I'm going to just change that to register. There we go. I'm going to save this file, and here you can see we are now getting this card. We are getting the card. We have to change that to the login. So I'm going to save that, and we are getting the login, we are getting the register right here. So everything is working totally awesomely. Alrighty, so that's just the basics JSX, and also the basics, just a few things which we provided right here. But next we are going to be creating a toggle, drop down menu, and also the close sidebar and all of that. But before we getting into all of that, first of all we have to make a setup for our backend API routes. So which means like we gotta go to the Redux side, and inside this Redux we are gonna have to create a few folders. Now let me just zoom in a bit, and I'm gonna just create one folder for the API, and inside this Redux folder we are going to be creating one for the features, and I'm going to create a few files inside this. So one for the store.js, and now let me just create one more for the what do you call it, constants.js. Okay, so I'm going to explain every single thing which I'm doing right here. So the first thing which I want to do is that inside this API folder, I'm going to create one file. I'm going to give a name of like API slice.js. Now let me just create one more for the user or users, API slice.js right here. So let's just go ahead and go to the API slice, this folder right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to that. So what do you want to do? First of all, the first thing which you want to do is that we want to get the fetch base query. So fetch base query from the Redux toolkit, and we also wanted to get the create API like so from the Redux JS toolkit, and we got to go to the query and React. Okay, so we are going to be getting that from the RTK query. So the next thing which we want to do is that we wanted to go ahead and go to the constants, and now let me just create one constant for myself, or not one but two. Okay, so let's just create for the, what do you call it, the base one. So I'm going to just write const base URL, and it will be now currently equals to empty string. Why is that? Because we are going to be using the proxy, so that's why we don't have to specify anything, which I am going to be explaining in a few seconds. So now let me just export the const of users URL, and it will be now equals to, first of all you gotta go to the API, then we have to go to the users right here. I'm going to explain every single thing which I'm doing right now, but in a few seconds. So first of all, we just import that from the RTK query, and now the next thing which we have to do is that we have to get our base URL, which we just provide inside this constant right here, this one. So now let me just get that. I'm going to use import and then base URL from, come on, let's just provide from, gotta go to the constant, and now let's just get it from there. So now the next thing which we have to do is that we have to provide our base query. So I'm going to just write like const base query, and it will be now equals to fetch base query. Okay, and here inside this base query we are going to be passing our base URL, and it will be now equals to our base URL right here, which we are importing right here. Okay, so the next thing which we have to do is that we also have to create our API slice. So now I'm going to just export the const API slice, and it will be now equals to create API, and inside that we are going to be passing our base query, which we are creating right here, and we are providing the base URL of just an empty string for now. Like come on, I just closed that. We are just providing the empty strings right here, but we are going to be providing the actual backend URL in a few seconds. So that's that. And now let me just specify a comma, and here we are going to also have to provide the tag types, and let's just provide a few tags right here. So I'm going to just provide one for the product, because we will have our product, we will also have our order, and we will have our user, just a singular user, and we will also have our category. Okay, so that's that. Now underneath this one, what do you want to do? We just want to provide our endpoints, and it will be now equals to just an empty function right here, just an empty error function right here. So I'm going to just save this file. So what are we doing? First of all, we are getting the fetch base query and create API from the Redux RTK query, and then we are just specifying the base URL, which is currently set to just an empty strings like that. But we will provide what do we call it, a local host of 5000, which is running as a backend right here. We will provide that in a few seconds, but I want you to just know that currently we are just specifying the empty strings right here, but we will provide that local host in a few seconds. Then we are creating our API slice, and we are passing our base query, then we are passing our tags, and finally we are just providing our what do we call it, our empty endpoints right here, which we are going to be filled there in a few seconds. So I'm going to just remove this file as well, and now let's just work on what do we call it, or user slice right here. So now let's just go ahead and go to the user slice, and now let's just provide a few endpoints right here. So the first thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get the API slice. So I'm going to write import API slice from where? From, let's just go ahead, one directory, and we have our API slice right here. The next thing which you want to do is that we also wanted to get our users URL from our constants, which we created right here. Let me just go ahead, which we created right here, and which is set to the API and /users right here. Okay, so that's that. Now let me just create a few endpoints right here. So I'm going to just inject my previous one. So I'm going to write like export and then const user API slice, or user API, come on, API slice, and it will be now equals to API slice, and here we just have to inject our endpoints from the previous method. So I'm going to just specify my endpoints right in here. Previously it was just set to the empty function, but in this case we are going to be passing our builder function, and here we just have to specify the actual endpoints right here. Okay, so first of all I'm going to create an endpoint for, I don't know, for login would be fine. So I'm going to just create an endpoint for login. Let me just pass my builder and mutation. In this case we are going to be passing some sort of a data to this login right here, so we are writing this mutation right here. But if we weren't changing our data, or if we weren't providing any data, so we won't be providing this mutation, rather we are going to be providing this query. So in this case we are providing the data and we are changing the things. So in this case we have to specify the mutation right here. Okay, so we are mutating our state in this case, so that's why we have to specify the mutation right here. Inside that, what do we want to do? First of all, we have to specify the query, and it will take a data, and I'm going to just specify my function right here, just a query right here. So what do you want to do? We first of all want to provide the URL. So where the URL should go? The URL should go to the user's URL, which we are importing from up above, and it should go to specifically to the auth. And now let me provide a comma and provide a method of post, because in this case we are going to be posting our data, so that's why we are setting the method to post. Now let me just provide a body, and we are going to be specifying the data right here. So now let me just save that and explain every single thing which I just said right here. So what are we doing? First of all, let me just go ahead and go to my backend, and I'm gonna get my user controller, not controller, but I guess route would be fine. So user routes, come on man, there we go, routes. We should have to change that to routes. R-O-U-T-E-S, R-O-U-T-E-S, there we go. I know it's gonna break a lot of things. Gotta go to this folder right here, and let's just change it to routes. You know what, I'm gonna just copy that, and let's just go ahead and search for this routes. Where in the world we use that? Just in this place. So now let's just change that to routes. Now let me just click on that, and everything is working totally fine. So what in the world are we currently doing? So now let me just go back, and I'm gonna just make that side by side so that you guys can see everything a bit better. So what are we doing? First of all, the local storage, just like this. So I'm gonna just write HTTP, and then we are just writing our local host, and we are just setting that to 5000. We are gonna take care of that in a few seconds, but for now I just want you to keep in mind, like, we have this URL for now, and we are providing an endpoint for the user's URL, and then specifically for the auth right here. So what in the world is this user's URL? I'm gonna go to this user's URL right here, and it is now set to the API and users right here. So now let me just copy that from here. Let's just copy that from here, and we are attaching that API users right here, just like this. So first of all, we are making request to localhost 5000, then specifically we want to go to the API, and then specifically we want to go to the user, and for the user we specifically want to go to the auth. Okay, so we are going to be just copying that. Let me just copy that from here, and now let me just place it right here. Okay, so we want to make a request to this URL, so I'm going to copy that or even cut that, and now let me just place it right in here. Okay, currently we are working on a login, so we have to make a request to this auth, what do we call it, this auth right here. Okay, so we are first of all working with the API users, and then we are making our request to this endpoint right here, this auth. Okay, so which means like we are logging in, and inside this auth we provided all of our logic right here. So if I go to this controller, okay, I can't even go to this controller, so I'm gonna cut that here, and I don't know why it's not working. User controller, why in the world it's not working? So I'm gonna just save this file. Gotta go to that controller manually. So let's just go to the routes, and why it is not working now. If I click on that, and here you can see we are providing all of that logic right here inside this controller. Like we are getting the email and the password, we are checking for the existing user if we have the existing user. So we just want to compare the passwords. If we have, like, if the password matches, then we are just generating the token, and we are just setting that to a cookie, and finally we are just setting this result to the user. So that was the entire flow. So which means, like, first of all, for the backend it will look like this. Let me just show you all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the index file. For the backend it should look like this. First of all, we are listening to the port of 5000. You already know that, right? And the next thing which we are doing is that we are just making a request to the API and users. Okay, so now we are going to be attaching this API users to that 5000 route, and then we also want to attach our auth right here. So if you make request to that, which means like we are working with a login user, which means like we can successfully log in. Okay, so that was the entire flow. I know that wasn't necessary. If you don't get it, that's completely okay, but I just kind of want to show you every single thing right here. Okay, so now we successfully create our login endpoint right here. Now the next thing which we have to do is that we have to create a hook based on this endpoint right here. Okay, so what do I have to do? First of all, I'm gonna have to export a lot of things. Oh, not a lot of things, we are going to export a lot of things later, but for now we just have to export one hook right here. So we are going to just use export const, and we just want to export the use login and mutation from where, from, come on man, from the user API slice right here. So now I'm gonna save this file, and now let me just check use login mutation. Now you might be thinking like, HuXn, where in the world is this use came from, and where in the world is this mutation came from, and what's up with that cases? Like, look at that, this is a camel case, what's going on? Well, the thing is, Redux in my opinion work like this. First of all, you can just think about that. This is my analogy that I'm giving you. Okay, so first of all, we would have the use for all of the endpoints. It doesn't matter if you are working with a query or the mutation. So if you register your endpoint right here, you will have that use right here. Like this use keyword will be here. Okay, the next thing we have is that we are rendering dynamically or endpoint right here. So in this case, what's the name of our endpoint? The name of our endpoint is this login right here. Okay, so we're going to copy that and we're going to place it right here, but we have to just make that uppercase. You don't even have to worry about all of that things which I'm telling you right now, but this is just my analogy right here. Okay, then it will check like which kind of method, or not method, but which kind of request are you making? Are you mutating the state, or you're just getting a data from the backend or from some third-party library or something like that? In this case, we are working with the mutation. So here we have to copy their mutation and we have to just place it right here, and we also have to make this as uppercase. So here you can see we are now getting the use, which you can see right here, the use, then our method name or our endpoint name. So our endpoint name is login, so here you can see we are specifying the login right here. Then we are providing the mutation, so here you can see we are providing the mutation right here. Okay, so that's that, and this is how everything works. But let's suppose if we are working with a query, so we are going to have to specify the query there, and in this case we are going to have to just use the query rather. Okay, so that's that, and let's just remove that from here, and let's just undo that to mutation. Okay, so I'm going to save this file, and this is how the entire flow looks like, and I hope that helps. because I've spent very much time right here. Okay, so now let's go ahead to the store and configure our store right here. Okay, so I'm gonna first of all get my few things, my tools. So first of all, I'm gonna get my configure store from the Redux toolkit right here. So the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to also get my setup listener from the Redux toolkit query, but we also want to provide the React at the end, and we also want to get the API. Come on, the API slice from where? We want to get that from the API, and gotta go to the API slice right here. The next thing which I want to do is that I want to configure my store. So I'm going to just write store const store, and it will be now equals to configure store, and here we just want to specify the reducers right here. So first of all, I'm going to just specify the reducer of, in this case we are going to be just specifying our API slice right here, and we just want to get our reducer path. Okay, and it will be now equals to the API, come on, the API slice, and here we just want to set that to reducer. Underneath that we are going to have to register our middleware as well. So I'm going to write my middleware, and it will be now equals to get default middleware right here. Okay, so let's just remove that from here. We don't want to import that. Let's just remove that, and it will be now equals to the get default middleware, and here we are going to be just concatenating. Let's just go back, and now let me just concat what I'm going to concat my API slice right here and middleware. There we go. So now underneath that I'm going to just provide a comma, and let's just use our dev tools and set that to true. I'm going to save this file, and here I am going to just write a setup listener, which we are importing right here. So setup listener, and here we are going to be just specifying the store, and let's just provide our dispatch, and finally let's just export default or store right here. Okay, so now let me just save that, and that's it for the configuration. But I forgot one thing. This API endpoint will work, but I'm going to also have to create one file for the auth as well. So I'm going to have to go to the features folder, and inside this features folder I'm going to create one file, or not file but folder, for the auth. So now let me just create one folder for the auth, and inside this auth I'm going to create one file, and I'm going to give a name of like I don't know, auth slice.js would be fine. Okay, so that's there. Now let me just define my auth first of all. So this is going to be for the authentication. So I'm going to just write my import, and let's just get our create slice. Okay, from where? From the Redux toolkit right here. And the next thing which I want to do is that I want to get my auth slice. Let's just configure that. So I'm going to use create slice, and inside there we are going to be first of all providing the name. So name, in this case I'm going to just set that to auth, and then we have to specify the initial state right here. So I can specify the initial state just like that, but I'm going to just do it separately. So now let me just copy that, and here we have to just register our initial state. So now I'm going to just write like const and initial state, and it will be now equals to this what do we call it, this object right here. I'm going to first of all check for the user info, and now we are going to have to change that to local storage. We got to go to the local storage because we are going to be setting our user info, and also we are going to be setting our user info in a local storage, and we are going to be also checking for the cookie. Okay, so I'm going to just write local storage and get item, and in this case we are going to be specifying the user info right here. And also let's just check if we have the user info from the local storage. So we just want to parse that, so I'm going to use like JSON parse, and I'm going to just specify my local storage, and let's just specify my get item this user info. And what if you don't have that? So what do you want to do? We just want to set that to no. Okay, so now I'm going to just save this file, and this is what's going on inside this initial state. We are now providing our user info right here. If we have a user info already available inside our local storage, so what do you want to do? We just want to parse that. If we don't have that, so we just want to set that to no. Okay, so this is our initial state. We are copying that and pasting it right here. So now underneath that we have to register our reducers. So I'm going to write a reducer, and it will be now equals to this reducer object right here. So first of all we are going to be setting the credentials. So set credentials, and we are going to be first of all specifying the state and also the action as well, and arrow function just like that. And here we are going to be just specifying the state dot user info, and it will be now equals to action dot payload. So I'm going to write a payload, and also I'm going to write my local storage, and it should be equals to set item, and we are going to be specifying, or we are going to be setting the user info. okay, to the local storage, and here we are going to be just specifying the JSON. Come on, why the hell am I getting that pop-up box again and again? And stringify right here, and we just have to specify our action. What the hell is wrong with this shit? Let's just go back. Here we have to specify the action and then payload. And now underneath that, we have to just write like const expire time, expiration time rather, and it will be now equals to new date. And here we just have to write like get time, and we have to just specify like 30 days right here. So I'm gonna write like 30 and then times 24, that same formula right here. So 24, and also for 60 one more time, and 1000, so it will give us 30 days. And now let's just use that or set that as expiration time to the local storage. So I'm going to use like local storage dot set item, and now here I'm going to just provide a property of like expiration time like so. And here we just have to specify the expiration time, expiration and time. And this is going to be it for the setting the credentials. And now let me just create one more for the log out. Okay, so like logging out the credentials, so it will be now equals to state, and let's just write a state here. Come on, state dot user info, and we are going to be just setting there to null from the local storage, and we are going to be also clearing out the local storage. So local storage dot clear, and now let's just execute that, and that would do it for the logout right here. So now let's just export, what do you call it, our actions and also the reducers. So first of all, let's just export our actions. So I'm going to just export like set credentials and also logout from where, from our, come on man, from our auth slice dot action, or actions rather, it is a plural plural, there we go, I can't even speak today. And the next thing which we have to do is that we have to export default, and it will be now equals to auth slice dot reducer. Okay, so that's that. Now we are totally done with the Redux side, so I'm gonna just close this one. Let's just close, or I'm gonna just leave that right here. And oh, I forgot to include it right here inside our store. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get my, let's just import the auth reducer from here. Let's just go ahead and go to the features and also go to the auth, and then auth slice right here. Let's just copy that from here, and I'm going to just place it right here. Let me give a name of like auth and set that to the auth reducer right here. So now let's just save that, and that's it for the store. Gotta go to the navigation right here, and now let's just register or do all of that magic right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the bottom, and underneath this link, and specifically underneath this link right here, the favorite links, I'm going to, or even underneath this div, I guess, yeah, underneath this div, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just create a div with a class of relative, and let's just execute that. And first of all, we have to work on the button, and for the button we are going to be using the on click, and let's just toggle the drop down. Okay, so toggle the drop down, and let's just provide a classes of flex, and items will be totally set to center, text will be totally set to gray, and 8,000 8,000 focus will be set to outline and none. And as a label, we are going to be checking first of all the user info. Oh, I forgot to include the user info and all of that. Now let's just import that right here. Okay, so gotta go to the top first of all, and we have to use the use selector and all of that. So underneath this CSS, I'm gonna have to get that. First of all, let me just get my use selector, and also not this one. Come on, I'm not talking about that. Use selector. And I'm gonna also get my use dispatch, ASP, come on, use DISP from where we want to get that from the React Redux right here. So that's cool, but we also want to get our endpoint which we just created right here. So I'm gonna give a name of like use logout, LOGOUT, come on, use log LOG and out mutation. There we go. So we just want to get that. And we also want to import our logout. So logout, from where we just want to go ahead and go to the Redux first of all, and we also want to get to the features, and we also want to get to the auth, and then inside the auth we wanted to get the auth slice right here. Okay, so I guess that would be it for the importing stuff. And now underneath this navigation, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just change, or I wanted to get the user info right here. So user info will be equals to use selector, and here we just have to specify the state, and here we have to just get the state.auth right here from our store. So that's there. Now the next thing which I want to do is that I want to also get my dispatch and navigate. First of all, I'm going to get the dispatch, and it will be now equals to the use dispatch, and here we just have to specify, oh, you don't have to specify anything, we just have to use the use dispatch, and const navigate will be now equals to the use navigate, and let's just execute that. And now underneath that, what do you want to do? We just want to get our login or log out API call, and it will be now equals to the use logout mutation right here. So that's that too. And you know what, I'm gonna also create that logout handler right away, so we are gonna have to use that later, but I'm gonna create it right now. So I'm gonna just use like logout and handler, and it will be now equals to our async function, because currently we are working with our database, so that's why we have to use our async function. So try catch. For the catch block, we just want to use like console.error, and now let me just pass the error right here. In the try block, what do you want to do? We just want to use the await and logout API call, and here what do you want to do? We just want to unwrap that. So unwrap that first of all, and then we have to just use the dispatch of logout and execute that. And we also have to navigate through the login screen, which we are going to be creating in a few seconds. So that's that. Now what I'm going to do inside this button is that I'm gonna just check I'm gonna first of all check for the user info if we have the user info. So what do you want to do? We just want to write a span, and I'm gonna have to write it manually like span, like so. And let's just provide a class names of like text will be set to totally white, and here we are going to be just rendering like a user info, and then we want to render the username. Okay, and if that's not the case, let's just go back. If that's not the case, so what do you want to do? We just want to set that to the empty fragments. So let's just save that right here. And what are we getting? And unexpected application error, could not find the React Redux context value. Oh, we didn't register the context value for the Redux. We have to go to the main right here, and now let's just register that first of all. The first thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get the provider, so I'm going to get my provider from where? Provider from React and Redux right here, and provider. The next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get the store. From the store, gotta go to the Redux, and let's just get our store right here. And now we have to wrap our application from the provider and the store. So now let's just use that. I'm gonna provide the provider right here. Let me just pass my store in it, and here we have to just specify the store. And now let's just wrap our entire application or the router inside the store. And now let me just see here, if I click on this login, it is working. If I click on the register, it is totally working. Okay, so that's cool. We are even checking everything which we need right now. So we are going to be specifying the username if we already have the user information. So currently we cannot do that because we have to go ahead and log in. So now let's just start working on our login component, and once we are done with the login component, then we would be able to work with this navigation right here. So I just want you to know that navigation isn't done yet, baby. We gotta come back to this navigation once again. So you know what, we're gonna take care of the rest of this navigation a bit later, like the drop down component at the end and all of that. But first of all, we gotta take care of this login screen right here. So if we successfully log in, then we would be able to take care of the rest of this navigation right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that inside this auth folder, I'm going to create one file for the login.jsx right here, and RAFCE, I'm going to just save this file, and gotta go to the main first of all. And now let's just register that right here. Okay, so now let me just import the auth, and I'm going to go ahead and import my login right here. Okay, so go to the pages, gotta go to the auth folder, and now let me just get my login right here. So now I'm going to save this file. I'm going to copy that, and inside this app I'm going to have to close that manually just like that. Okay, so I'm going to have to close it like so. So inside this route and this app, so I'm going to just hit enter right here like so. Inside there, what do you want to do? We just want to create one more route, like separate route for or login. So I'm going to just go ahead and go to the login screen, and here we just want to pass the element of this component which we just created, like login component. Okay, so that's there. I'm going to save this file, and now I'm going to just click on this login screen, and you cannot see that hello. That's because it is hidden behind this what do we call this navigation right here. Let's just go ahead and go to the login component, and now let's just create that. The first thing I want to do is that I'm going to grab a few things like a use stat, and I'm going to also get a use effect as well. And let's just get our link and also the use location and also the use navigate. From where? From the React, come on, React router and DOM. Okay, so now I'm going to get one more thing, use selector and use dispatch. Not this use selector I'm talking about. Use selector and also the use dispatch. From where? We want to get that from the React Redux right here. So now underneath that, what do you want to do? We also want to get something called the use login mutation, and we also want to get the set credentials as well. So set credentials, which we created a few seconds ago, and now I'm going to also get my toast right here. So from the React note toastify, not notify. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's everything we need right now. Now the first thing I would do is that I'm going to get my email, because if you want to log in, so we got to get the email from the user. So I'm going to just write like a use stat, not selector but use stat, and here we are going to be just specifying the empty string, and I'm going to also get a password from the user. So set password from the user, and it will be now equals to the use stat, and here what do you want to do? We just want to pass an empty string for now. Okay, so now let me just get my dispatch first of all, and it will be now equals to the use dispatch, and I'm going to also get my navigate as well. So navigate, and it will be equals to the use navigate right here, and execute that. Now the next thing which I want to do is that I want to get the login, and I'm going to also provide the loading right here, is loading, which is a property inside this is loading mutation which we created a few seconds ago, and I'm going to also get the user information as well. So like a user info or the user data, whatever you want to call that, from the store. So I'm going to use the use selector, and I know you guys are probably aware of that, because if you are taking this course, so you already know all of that. Okay, so now the next thing which I want to do is that I'm going to get a search, and let's just use the use location which we imported a few seconds ago. And now let me just write the search param. So I'm going to write it sp, s for short, and url search params, and here we just have to specify the search which we are getting from the use location, and here in this case we just want to redirect. So redirect, let's just use the search params, and I'm going to just write a get, and in this case I'm going to just pass the redirect, or let's just go to the home. Okay, so that's that. Now the next thing which you want to do is that we also want to set up the use effect as well. So I'm going to use the use effect right here in this case. And what do you want to do inside the use effect? Inside the use effect, we want to check if we have the user information. So what do you want to do? If we already have the user information, we just want to navigate and redirect. So I'm going to just pass my redirect right here. And also as the dependency array, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just pass my navigate to it, and I'm going to also pass the redirect to it. So redirect, and I'm going to also provide the use info, or not a use info, user info. There we go. Okay, so that's that. So I guess we are almost ready to write all of our JSX which we need for this project. dispatch is okay because we are not using it, that's why we are getting that error right here. Alrighty, so now inside this div I'm going to just create my section, and I'm going to create a section, but I'm going to have to provide a little bit of classes to it. So let's just create it from scratch. Section, give a class name of what? First of all, we are going to be providing the arbitrary value for the padding left, and we are going to be just providing like 10 rem would be fine, and I'm going to also set that to flex, and flex will be set to totally wrap. Okay, and inside this section, what do you want to do? We just want to get our div, and here I'm going to just provide the margin for the right, and here we are going to be providing the arbitrary value once again, so we have to close that manually. So let's just provide the 4 rem margin for the top. I'm going to provide like 5 frames would be fine. And now inside this div I'm going to write h1 of text will be set to like 2XL, and I'm going to also write a font semi bold, and margin for the bottom will be set to 4, and I guess that's it. Here just write like a sign in, and now let's just save that. Okay, and here you can see we are now getting this sign in inside this login route right here. Okay, so that's cool. Now the next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to create a form. So now let's just create a form inside there, and this form will allow us to send our data to our database right here. Okay, so what do you want to do? Let's just provide a class, and I'm gonna give a container class, and let's just provide a width of like 40 rims. Okay, and inside this form, what do you want to do? We just want to create a div with a class of margin top, margin not top, but for the y-axis we are going to be providing like I don't know, 2 rims would be fine. And inside there, let's just indent that a bit, and inside there, what do you want to do? We just want to create a label, and for the HTML4 I'm going to provide an email first of all, because we require the email, so we're going to have to provide their email address right here, ADDRESS, there we go. And I'm going to also specify a classes of like a blog. The text will be totally small, and the font will be set to medium, and I'm going to provide a text of totally white to it. So now let's just save that, go ahead and check it out, and here you can see this is my label right here. So underneath this label, I'm going to create my input right here, and the time will be set to email, and also I'm going to give them ID of totally email, and also let's just provide a class name of like margin top of 1, padding all around will be set to 2, and border and rounded border and width will be set to totally full. Okay, so let's just save that, and it is looking awful but that's cool. Anyways, that's looking better. Okay, yeah, so that's it. But the next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to make this component or this input as a control input. So I'm going to have to provide the email right here, and on change, what do you want to provide? We just want to provide our event object and set email, which we are getting from the top, and here we just have to specify e.target.value right in here. Okay, so now underneath this div, I guess that's it for this email right here. So let's just refresh that, and we are now totally able to provide our credentials and everything like that. So now let's just cut that from here, and that's for the email. But I guess I'm gonna have to duplicate that and change a few things inside. You know, I'm gonna just duplicate that. Let's just duplicate that div, and let's just change things for the password as well. So let's just change that to like password, remove that, and this one should be a password as well, and change this one to the password as well, and ID will be password, and this one will also be in password, the value will be password. So now underneath this input, not so underneath this div, what do you want to do? We just want to create one button, so I'm going to just create this button right here. Let's just provide the disable stat on it. So is loading will be the disable stat on there. So if it's loading, so it should be disabled. If not, then it should not be disabled. So let's just provide a type of submit to it, and the class name, class name will be now equals to like a background color will be set to totally pink of 500, and also text will be set to white, and padding for the x-axis will be set to 4, and padding for the y-axis will be set to 2. It will be rounded 2, and also cursor will be set to pointer when we have our mouse over it, and margin for the y-axis will be set to like 1 rem, and as a text I'm going to provide conditionally if it is loading. So what do you want to do? We just want to provide this label like signing in and ... and if it's not the case, so what do you want to do? Come on, man. We just want to have, so we just have to write like a sign in. So if you just save our file, and now if you click on that, well, we are not signing in, so that's why we are not getting this signing in right here. Anyway, so that's that. But the next thing which I want to do is that I want to also provide a loader right here. So underneath that, I'm going to just write like if it is loading. So what do you want to do? We just want to write like a loading ... right here. We will provide that, but I guess I'm gonna have to create a separate loader for that. Yeah, I will create a separate loader for that. So I'm gonna just render loader, which we are going to be creating in a few seconds right away. Let's just create it. So loader.jsx. So what I want to do is that I wanted to create an RAFC, and I'm going to just provide a lot of JSX right here. So I'm going to create a div with a class of animate spin rounded full, and the height will be set to 16. The width will be also set to 16 as well. It will be also I'm going to also provide a border for the top of 4, and also border will be pink 500, and border opacity will be set to 50. Okay, so I guess that would be it. So I'm going to just save this file, and now let's just use that loader right here. I'm going to remove this R, and yeah, it is not giving me an autocomplete, so I'm going to have to import it manually. Let's just get or loader from where? From, let's just go ahead and go to the, not navigation, but go ahead twice, like so. Go to components and go to the loader, and now if you save that, and everything should work. And you know what, I'm gonna also create a label for like register components, and so like if the user is not already logged in, so I mean like if the user is not already registered, so then they can click on that label and they can go to the register screen. Okay, so let's just do that a bit quickly. Let's just go back like so, and underneath this form, let me just create it underneath this form. That would be it. I'm going to create a div with a class of margin top for 4, and I'm going to create a paragraph of text totally white, and let's just set that to like new customer and provide just an empty space right here, and I'm going to just provide a link, and let's just close this link right here, and it will just redirect that. Let me just provide, come on, redirect. And if it is redirecting, so we just want to set that to register question mark redirect. Let's just write redirect, and it will be now equals to this $sign, and I forgot to use these template literals rather, and here we just have to close that right here, and here we just have to provide the redirect right here. Okay, so if that's not the case, so what do you want to do? We just want to go ahead and go to the register. There we go. And I'm going to also provide a few classes to it. So like class name will be like, I don't know, text will be totally pink of 500, and I'm going to also provide the hover state of like underline, and let's just provide the register label inside there. Save our file, and let's just see what are we getting. Are we even getting something? Okay, there we go. So we are now getting like new customer. Click on the register button, and it will now register. I mean like it will brings us to this register route right here, but we didn't set up there for now. So now let's just get into it. All right, so now let's go ahead and check our database right here. Let me just connect that to my database. Go to HuXn store, check out the users. So I wanted to log in as not John but Mango, Orange, John Doe. I want to log in as John Doe, so I'm gonna just write like John, JOHN and DOE @gmail.com, and here I'm gonna just write like John 1 2, and I guess 3. Let's just click on sign in, and guess what, we are not getting, oh, that's because we didn't create even we didn't even create what do we call it, the login or the submit handler, and we have to specify it right here. That's why it is not working. Let's just create that. So I'm going to just write like on submit, and once that's submitted, so we just want to provide this control, not controller, why am I saying controller all the time? So let's just provide a submit handler function. Let's just create the submit handler function right in here. So like so, I'm going to write async and provide our event object, and inside that we are going to be preventing the default behavior. So let's just prevent the default behavior, provide a try catch blocks, and inside the catch block, so we just want to use like toast.error, and here we just want to provide if we got some sort of error. So what do you want to do? We just want to get the data of that error, and we also want to get the message. If not, so then we want to check for the error, and we want to just get the message. That's it. So for the try block, we just want to get like a res for the response from this login. So we just want to provide the email and also the password, and we want to use the unwrap right here. Okay, so now let me just log this res right here. So which kind of data are we getting? And now let's just dispatch or set credentials, which we are getting, not section, but set credentials, and here we just have to specify the response which we are getting right here. Okay, so I'm going to just save this file, right click on him, let's just remove that question mark at the end, like right click on him, go to the console, remove that, and I'm going to provide my John Doe and John JOHN 1 2 and 3. Let's just click on the sign in, and guess what, we are getting an amazing error. And do you know why we are getting this error? That's because we did not set up our backend route proxy. So let's just go ahead and go to where is that? We just have to go to this white.config file right here. So inside this config file, we just have to register our proxy. So the first thing which I want to do is that I'm going to just write a server, and now inside this server I just want to create a proxy. So proxy, and here let me just provide my API right here, and now my API will be set to HTTP. Come on, HTTP localhost, and it should be equals to 5000 right here. Let's just save that and try it out. Okay, so I'm gonna just delete that from here. Let me just go ahead and log in as a John123. Okay, and click on this sign in, and we are still getting that error right here. I guess we have to restart the server for that. Let's just restart the server for that and check it out. Oh, I was using an npm start rather than using an npm run dev, so I'm gonna have to use the backend and also the front end, then it would work. My bad. So now let's just refresh them and clear this out. I'm going to use this John Doe, JOHNDOE, and let's just provide JOHN and 123. Okay, and click on the sign in. Why in the world we are getting this error once again? API users. So which kind of data are we providing? We are providing this data, and we are not even getting the preview. Let's just check it out. For the post request, API users auth. Was there a users or users singular? Let's just go ahead and check it out. We got an error, babies. API users. Gotta go ahead and check out the auth. Yep, that's cool. This one is cool. So let's just go ahead and go to the user API slice and go to the users API users. So this one is working. Which kind of error are we? Internal server error 5000. Click on him. We are providing the email. We are also providing the password of John123. So why in the world we are not getting anything? Oh, I forgot. There are 2 forward slashes right here. So let's just provide their 2 forward slashes and save my file. And come on, HuXn, that was stupid mistake that you made like a countless times. Let's just log in as HuXn. What the hell? Let's just log in as HuXn at gmail.com, and the password was HuXn12 and I guess 3. Okay, so let's just click on this button, sign in, and here you go, baby. And here you go. We logged in, but we are not getting the toast. So here you can see my name, which means like we successfully log in, but I'm gonna have to make sure to check out the application first of all. Let's go ahead and check out the application and go to the local storage, and there you go. Here you can see my user info right here, and here you can also see the expiration time right here. And I'm gonna also check the cookie, and we want to check our cookie, and we have our JWT, and here is my cookie. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. But let's just remove this HuXn, and let's just log in as someone else like orange or mango or something like that. Let's just remove this application. Let's just remove this JWT from the cookie, and you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the local storage and click on this clear icon, and here you can see, if I just refresh that, here you can see my name is totally gone from this list right here. Okay, so this is how we are going to be logging in. I'm gonna go ahead and click on the login once again, and I wanted to log in as someone else in this case, so let's just go ahead and go to my database. That's HuXn. This is the John Doe. I don't want to log in as John Doe. Let's just log in as orange maybe. So I'm gonna just log in like orange, come on, orange at gmail.com. Let me zoom in a bit. Orange at gmail.com, and I'm gonna provide the password of orange 123. Click on the signing in, and we successfully sign in. Here you can see the orange. And now let's just check it out inside our application tab. Here you can see the user credential or the user information right here. So we logged in as orange. He is not an admin, and we are getting the username of orange right here. Let's just check our cookie, and here you can see we have our cookie. Alright, so which means like our login functionality is totally working, and we are done with the logging functionality. And now the next thing which I want to do is that, what else should I do? What else should I check it out? I guess I'm gonna have to work with the logout, but I'm thinking about completing this navigation first, and then we will complete that register functionality, and then we're gonna have to jump into the shop, and the rest of them, that's other story. But we are gonna have to first of all Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and go to the navigation. Let's just go to the navigation first of all, and now let's just complete that. So now we are getting the user information successfully, like we can see the username right here, and that's cool. So underneath this user info, what I want to do is that I want to check for the user info once again. User info, if you have the user info, so what do you want to do? We just wanted to provide a SVG right here. I just copied the SVG from my other project, and now let me just place it right here. And this is what you have to do. First of all, you have to write like this XML, and here you just have to specify this URL right here. You can even remove that if you don't want to. Okay, and then here we are providing a class name, we are providing the height to it, we are providing the width, the margin left, and here we are checking if the dropdown is open. So what do you want to do? We just want to provide a transform, and we want to rotate that on the 180 degree. If not, then we just want to set that to empty string, and we want to fill, and the fill, like the color, will be set to none. And we also want to provide the viewport of 0, 0 and 24. Like this one will be for the x-axis and this one will be for the y-axis, and the stroke will be totally wide. And by the way, if you're not aware of like what in the world is SVG, then you can use the icon if you wanted to, but I just wanted to use the SVG and I wanted to make things lighter, so that's why I choose SVG right here. Okay, so then inside that SVG we are providing the path, and the stroke line cap is set to rounded, and also the line join is also set to rounded, and stroke width is set to 2, and for the dimension or the direction we are providing a drop down menu. So if that's the case, so just make it at the bottom, and if that's not the case, so just make it or at the top, or yeah, the other way around. So I'm going to just save that, and here if I just refresh that, so here you can see we are now getting this drop down icon right here. If I click on that drop down icon, if you can see that, here you can see we are now getting that drop down icon, but if you click on it, nothing is happening right now. So now let's just take care of that. So underneath this button, what do you want to do? We just want to create our drop down list right here. So I'm going to use like drop down open. It should be open, and we wanted to get the user info. If both of the cases are false, so we don't want to show anything. Okay, so if that's true, so we just want to like provide all of that JSX which we are writing right here. So UL, and let me just provide a class name, and I'm going to provide a class name of like let me just use that backticks right here. It will be now set to absolute, and right will be set to 0, the margin top will be set to 2, margin for the left will be set to 14, and space for the y-axis will be set to 2. Background will be set to totally white, and I'm going to also provide a text of totally gray of 600 right here. And now let's just check for the user admin, and if not the user admin. Okay, so now let me just check. If not the user info dot is admins, come on, is admin. So what do you want to do in that case? So we just want to change that to minus top of 20%. Okay, and what if the user is an admin? So we just want to change that to the top of 80 right here. So now let me just write 80 right here. I'm going to save this, and that's it for the UL styling. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and now let's just check for the, what do we call, the user info and admin. So if you have is admin, what do you want to do in that case? Let's just write an and right here, and we just want to provide this JSX right here. So now let me just put my fragments, and inside these fragments I'm going to write my li, and inside this li I'm going to write my link, and it will go to the home first of all, or not home, but it will go to the admin and dashboard, which we are going to be creating in the upcoming videos, but not for this one because that's way far. Okay, so it should go to the dashboard, and now let me just provide a class name of for the block, and also padding for the x-axis will be set to 4, padding for the y-axis will be set to 2, and when somebody hover over it, so we just want to provide a background color of totally gray of 100 right here. Okay, and it should go to the dashboard. So now I'm going to save this file, and now if I click on this button, and we can see that, we cannot see that. You know what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just hide these, and when I log in, so these should be hide, and when I am not logged in, so they should not be hide, like this one should be hide. So I'm going to just make that right here, and then we will take care of all of that links. So yeah, we don't have to do much, but I'm gonna have to just wrap this UL, and this is the UL of that login and register. So let's just wrap that in what if the not the user data. So now let's just provide if not the user info. So we just want to provide this JSX right here. Let's just cut all of that UL right here. Let me just cut all of that, and I'm gonna just place it right here. Okay, so I'm gonna save this file, and here you can see I'm getting my name right here. I am getting that thing but I can't see that right here. Okay, so if I logged out, you know what, let's just take care of that. I am getting that dashboard right here. I'm gonna just duplicate this li for a few things, like let's just duplicate this li. Let me just select that. This one will be for dashboard, then we have a products, then we have a category, then we have a orders, users, profile, and logout. There we go. So I know that's a lot but now let's just take care of this. So this one will be for the dashboard, and now let's just change this one to product. Come on, product list right here, and this one should be products plural. Okay, and also this one should be a category list. So category list, which we are going to be creating in the next video, and this one should be category. There we go. And I'm going to also provide the order list right here, like an order list in lowercase, and this one should be also in lowercase, and this one should be also in lowercase. And here, what do you want to do? We just want to provide the orders right here, and also we just want to provide a user list in this case. So user list, and the label, I'm gonna just change that to users. There we go. And also one for the profile, so I'm gonna write like a profile. Yeah, I guess profile would be fine, and this one should be profile. Okay, and finally for the logout, so logout, and here yeah, I'm gonna have to just provide a logout right here, but we are going to be also providing the on click handler, like on click, and when somebody click on this logout, so what do you want to do? We just want to find this logout handler, which we didn't create already, I guess. Oh, we already created that. So now let's just save that and refresh, and now if I click on it, we are not seeing anything. I don't know why, but we are not seeing anything. Go ahead and go to, everything is working totally fine, but why we are not seeing that drop down component right here? Let's just see. We are now inside this user info right here. If the user have the info, so we just want to see the username, and otherwise nothing. Okay, then we are checking the user info, and we are providing this drop down, and everything should work. Drop down open, and the user information as well. Oh, you know what that is? I just made a mistake right here, so I'm gonna have to cut out this li from here. Let's just place it right in here. So I'm going to just remove that space, and I'm gonna just place this li's right here. Okay, so now let me just say that once again. If the user is admin, so what do you want to do? We just want to show the dashboard, the product list, the category list, the order list, the user list, but that's going to be it. Okay, but if the user is not an admin, so we just want to show to the user just a profile and the logout. Okay, so now I'm going to save this file, and now let's just check it out. So here you can see we are now getting the profile, and we are also getting the logout. Let's suppose if I just click on the logout, but before I do that, let me just check my application tab. Let me go ahead and go to the application tab, and here you can see we have our JWT right here, and we also have our, what do we call it, our user info right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just click on this logout, and it is not doing anything. Let's just see why it's not doing anything. Gotta go ahead and go to the network panel, and we are getting the path of pending logout. I guess I'm gonna have to restart this server, or what should I do? Let's just click on the logout. Why it's not working? Gotta go to the inspect area. Let's just go ahead and go to the network panel once again, and let's just click on the logout right here. Why it is not working? We have a localhost API use auth, the preview response, and it is taking a lot of time. I guess there might be some sort of an error right here. Not quite sure about that. Or you know what, let's just restart the entire server, and let's just check it out once again. Sometimes that's because of a cache. That's why it is not working the way we expect him to work. Alright, so let's just refresh that, and let's just go ahead and click on the logout, and still not working. Oh, we are not creating a logout mutation right here. That's why. We are creating a login mutation, but we are not creating a logout mutation. Why the hell did I say mutation? I mean like endpoint. We are creating a login endpoint, but we forgot to create the logout endpoint. Let's just do that, baby. So what do you want to do? Underneath this login, we have to just write a logout, and I'm going to just write builder.mutation, because in this case we are going to be mutating the state. And here we just have to specify the query, and let's just provide our arrow function right here, and the URL should be just this URL, I mean like users URL right here, which we are grabbing. And we just want to go to the logout, and what do you want to do? We just wanted to provide the method of post right here, and that's it. Okay, why are we getting this error? Parsing error expected. Let's just wrap it on quotes. Let's just wrap it on quotes, and that's looking better. So I'm going to save this file, and now let me just use that. Use logout mutation. Yep, use logout mutation, and it should work this time. Now let me just go ahead and restart everything from scratch, because we work with the front end, and let's just restart that once again. And I guess this should work this time, like this should work this time. Okay, so now I'm gonna just click on the orange and click on the logout, and guess what? It is also not working this time. And I just realized that I made a terrible mistake. we are importing the login right here rather than the log out. Come on, let's just remove that from here. Use logout mutation, and I'm gonna copy that, and now let's just place it right in here. Okay, and I'm gonna save my file, and this should work in this case right here. Okay, so now let's just refresh that, click on the logout, and here you can see we successfully log out. Okay, so now let me just check, what do we call it, the application tab. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go to the application tab, check the local storage, and it is totally empty, and check out the cookies, totally empty right here. Let me just confirm that once again. And by the way, let me just log in as an admin, and I wanted to show you that what do we call that drop down menu. So I'm going to just log in as an admin. So 1 2 3, and I'm going to just click on that. And now if I click on it, and here you can see we are now getting the logout, profile, users, order, category, products, dash, and everything. Okay, so now let me just confirm that one more time. Click on this application tab, we are getting the JWT, and we are also getting this local storage and all of that data, like the user is admin and also the user credential. Okay, so now I'm going to just click on that and click on the logout, and we successfully log out, and it will now redirect us to this login page right here. Okay, so now let me just inspect that one more time, and now let's just close this one, and now let me check out the application tab once again. And here you can see that data is totally erased, and we are not seeing anything, not a JWT, and also not the user info right here. Okay, so that was it about their dropdown component, and also for the logging in and for the logging out. I guess that would be it for the logging in and for the logging out. Now let's work with the register components or the register screen. So I'm going to just remove that, and I am going to go ahead inside this auth folder, and now let me just create one more file, give a name of like registr.jsx right here, and inside this register component I'm going to just write my RFCE, and now let's just go ahead to the main and import that right here. So now I'm going to just import the register from, come on, register from, let's just go ahead to the pages, or just one directory, go to the pages, then go to the auth, and also the register.jsx right here. Okay, so I'm going to just duplicate that and change that to register. There we go, and I'm going to just place the register right in here. So I'm going to save my file, and now let's just go ahead and check it out. So I'm going to just click on that, and let's just go out and click on this register right here, and here you can see we are now inside the register, and we cannot see anything. That's because it is hidden behind this navigation area. Anyways, that's completely okay. So what I'm going to do is that first of all I'm going to grab all of the things which I need for this component. So I'm going to just get first of all the use state, and I'm going to also get the use effect right here. And the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to just grab the link, the use location like so, and I'm going to also get the use navigate, navigate, there we go, navi, and we want to get that from the React router and DOM. Okay, so now the next thing which I want to get is the use dispatch, dispatch, and I also want to get the use selector, selector, like so, from the React Redux. And I also want to get the loader which we've created So I'm gonna just get a loader from the components folder. So gotta go 2 times back, and here we have our loader right here. Okay, and I also want to get set credentials, because we are going to be also setting the credentials. So I'm going to just write a set credentials from, let's just go ahead 2 times and go to the Redux first of all. Then you want to go to the features. Inside this feature, we want to go to the auth folder and then the auth line specifically. And also let's just get our toast. So I'm going to write a toast from React and then toastify. There we go. I'm going to save this file. Let's just go back. And I also want to go to my API or user API slice right here. And we also want to register the, what do we call it? We also want to register the register endpoint right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write register, and it will be a builder mutation. And here we just have to specify the query right here. And I'm going to just pass the data because we will take some sort of a data. So that's why we are going to be passing there. And the URL will be equals to, first of all, let's just provide our user URL right here. And now I'm going to just or you know what, we don't have to specify anything else, but we just have to provide this user URL right here. And the method will be equals to post. And also I'm going to provide the body, and body will be set to data right here. So I'm going to just save this file, and let's just create a hook for that. So I'm going to just use like use register mutation right here. Let me just copy that, save my file, and now let's just use it right here inside the register component. So I'm going to just write like import the use register, or you know, let's just use it like there, like use register mutation from, let's just go ahead to upper directories, go to the Redux, then we want to go to the API, or not, yeah, we want to go to the API, and then we have to just select this user API right here. So now the next thing which you have to do is that anytime you want to register the user, so we're gonna have to get a few things from the user, like the user username, and also a few other things. So I'm gonna just get like username and then set username like so, and it will be now equals to the use state state, and I'm going to just specify the empty string right here, and then we have to just write a user email. So I'm going to just write set email, and it will be now equals to use state, once again use state, come on, if I can get that. And let's just write password. So I'm going to write password and set password, and it will be also equals to the use state, and let's just provide empty strings right here, and also for the confirm password, so confirm password and set confirm FIRM SWORD, and it will be now equals to the use state, and here we just have to specify the empty strings right here. Okay, so that's that. Now the next thing which you want to do is that we also want to get the dispatch. So I'm going to write like dispatch dispatch, and it will be now equals to the use dispatch, and execute that. Now I also want to get the navigate, so I'm going to just write an navigate and use the use navigate right here and execute this one as well. So now I wanted to use my use register mutation, so I'm going to just write like const, and let me just get the register from it. Come on, register, and I wanted to use like is loading, and I'm going to just write like a use register mutation right here. Okay, so let's just use that, and we just want to extract this register from it. So that's that. Now the next thing we want to do is that we also want to get the user info. Okay, so then we would be able to work with that. So I'm going to use like use selector, and also I want to get that from the state, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the store and get that from the auth. Okay, so that will give us the, what do we call it, the user info. And I also want to get the search, so I'm going to just get the search from where, from the use location. And I also wanted to create the search param, so I'm going to just write a search param of new URL search params right here, and inside these search params I'm going to just pass my search right here. And now let's just redirect, so redirect redirect, and it will be now equals to search param, and then get want redirect, that right here, or let's just go to the home. Okay, so that's that. Now for the, what do we call it, for the use effect, what do you want to do for the use effect? Let me just pass my dependency array right, or you know, we are going to take care of the dependency array in a few seconds, but I want to check if user info. So what do you want to do? We just want to navigate to the redirect. There, come on, redirect. And for the dependency array, I'm gonna just specify the navigate, and I'm gonna also specify the redirect and also the user info right here. Okay, and I guess that would do it. So I'm gonna just write a lot of JSX right here. Let's just remove that and change that to, I don't know, section would be fine. So section for him, and also section here as well. Okay, so inside this section we want to create a div with a class of margin for the right, but this should be an arbitrary value, so we just have to write it manually, like 4 rems right here. And also we just want to provide a margin for the top will be 5 rem. And inside this div, what do you want to do? We just want to provide h1 with a class of text to Excel, and I also want to provide the font of semi bold. Also want to provide the margin bottom of 4 and register as a label. So I'm going to save this file. And why aren't we seeing anything inside the register? So, oh, you know what, I'm going to also provide the padding for the left. So I'm going to write a padding left, and this should be like 10 rem. And I also want to provide the flex, and flex will be now in this case set to wrap. So we just want to wrap every single thing right now. So let's just refresh that. What in the world is going on? Let's just go to the console, and the requested module name set credential, CREDENTIALS. Let's just go ahead and go to the auth, and let me just copy this set credentials from there, and let me paste it right here, save my file and refresh. And here you can see we are now getting that register right here. Alrighty, so now we can totally see our label right here. The next thing which you want to do is that underneath this h1 we want to create our form. So we are going to be attaching the event listener of on submit a bit later, but I just kind of want to provide a bit of styling to it. So I'm going to write like container, and the width will be set to 40 or 40. I'm going to provide a 40 rem, and let's just close that. Okay, so inside this form, what do you want to do? We just want to create a div with a class of margin for the y-axis, and I'm going to just specify the 2 rem right here. Okay, so inside that, what do you want to do? We just want to provide a label, and I'm going to provide the HTML4 as a, I'm going to provide HTML4 of name, and I'm going to also give him a class name of what? The block. First of all, I'm going to provide a text of small, and font will be medium. medium, there we go. And text will be totally white in this case. So I'm going to save this file, but I also want to provide the label of name. But underneath this label, I'm going to also create an input with the type of text. First of all, I'm going to give an ID of like name, and I'm going to also provide a class name of margin for the top of 1, padding all around 2, and border and totally rounded. Let's just go back, totally rounded. And I guess I'm gonna also provide a full right here, the width of totally full, and the placeholder in this case I'm gonna specify like enter name or enter your name or something like that. And now let's just make that as a control component. So I'm gonna, or control input, so I'm gonna specify the username, and I'm gonna also provide the on change value of, first of all, the e object, or not e object but the event object, and then we have to specify set user name right here. And in this case we just want to provide the e.target.value, and now let's just save that. Okay, so here you can see we are now getting our input right here, and we are also getting that label right here. So which means like everything is working the way we expect him to work. So I guess I'm gonna have to duplicate that a few times. I'm gonna duplicate that for like this one will be for name, then we have an email address, then we have password, and then we have a confirmed password. Okay, so I just duplicate that like 4 or 5 times. So the first one we have is a name, the second one we would have is for the email. So I'm going to just specify the email right here, email, there we go, and email address, and the type in this case will be also set to email. The ID will be equals to email, and enter your email like so. And the value I'm going to specify like email as well. And now let's just change the set username to set email right here inside this case, and let's just change the name to password. So I'm going to write password, and also change the label to password, and also change the type to password in this case, and also the ID will be set to password, and enter the name. So I'm going to just change that to password 2, and the value will be set to password 2, and the set username I'm going to just write set password, there we go. And finally, let's just write it for the confirm password right here as well. So I'm going to write confirm, so NFIRM, and password like so. Let's just copy that. And I guess I'm going to just write like confirm password right here as well. And the type will be password, just a singular password. And ID will be confirm password as well. And let's just write confirm password. There we go. And I'm going to also write a confirm password right here. And come on, man. Set confirm password right here as well. So now let's just save that. And here you can see we're now getting the name, email, password, and confirm password. Everything is looking okay, but I also wanted to create one button. So once we click on that button, something should happen. So underneath this div, we just want to create a simple button. So I'm going to write a button, and I guess I'm going to give a class of like background of totally pink 500. And text will be set to totally white, and padding for the x-axis will be set to 4, and padding for the y-axis will be set to 2, and totally rounded. And we just want to provide a cursor of pointer, and also the margin for the y-axis will be set to the arbitrary value of 1 rem. Okay, so let's just close that. And I also want to provide a disable state right here. So this, come on, disable. So for the disable state, we just want to provide the is loading. So if it's loading, it should be disabled. If it's not loading, then it should not. Okay, so let's just provide the submit type to it, or a type of submit to it, like so. So I'm going to just save them, and here in this case I'm going to specify if it's loading, loading, if it's loading. So we just want to provide the label of registering dot dot dot, and if it's not, so then we want to provide just a registered. There we go. Okay, so let's just save there. And underneath this button, what do you want to do? We just want to write or is loading, and let's just provide or loader right here. Let's just call that loader. Okay, so I'm gonna save this file, and here you can see we have this register button right here. So that's look cool, but I also want to redirect the user if the user already have the account. So what I'm going to do is that underneath this form, I'm going to just create a div with a class of margin for the top of 4, and inside that we are going to be creating one paragraph with a text of totally white, and inside that we are going to be specifying like already have an account. If you already have an account, so what do you want to do in that situation? Well, we just want to redirect them. So we just want to write a link. It will go to somewhere which we are going to be taking care of in a few seconds, but it will go to, let's just remove that, and place or redirect right here. First of all, let's just provide our login right here, question mark redirect and equals to, and this should be a backticks right here, because here we're going to be rendering the dynamic redirect right here. And also if that's not the case, so what do you want to do? We just want to redirect the user to the login screen. So that's that. And also I want to provide a class name, so I'm going to write a class name of text of totally pink, and also I guess text of pink 500 would be fine. And I'm going to write a hover state of underline like so, and just provide a login right here. So I'm going to save this file, and boom, here you can see we have our login right here. If I click on it, it will now brings us to this login screen. If I click on the register, it will now brings us to this register screen right here. Amazing. The next thing which we want to do is that we wanted to attach the on click event handler or on submit event handler on this form right here. So anytime we submit this form, so we just want to tag the data which the user should provide inside these input fields right here, and we just want to push that data to our backend database and do all of that magics with it. Okay, so now let's just do that. So what I want to do is that here inside this form, I'm gonna just write like on submit like so, and on submit value I'm going to specify the submit handler. I'm going to copy this name, and now let's just create that on submit handler right here. So let's just write our const on submit handler, and it will be now equals to the async, and let's just provide our event object, and inside there I'm going to just prevent the default behavior of it, like the refresh. And I also want to check what I want to check if the password is not equal to confirm password, which we have. So what do you want to do in that case? We just want to provide a toast of error, and we just want to say error on, come on, and we just want to say like passwords do not match, do not match. Okay, so otherwise in the else clause, what do you want to do? We just want to provide a try and catch block, and we just want to say console.log of error, and also we just want to say toast.error. We just want to provide a few or just a simple toast, so error dot data dot message right here. And inside a try block, what do you want to do? We just want to specify the result, and it will be now equals to await, and let's just provide, I guess I messed it up something. I guess I forgot okay, we already have the register right here. I thought that I didn't grab the register, so I'm gonna just place this register right here, and as a values I'm gonna specify the username, I'm gonna specify the user email, and I'm gonna also provide the password right here. And let's just provide the unwrap to it, and let's just close that. The next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to dispatch my set credentials, and we want to provide all of our result right here, okay, like the username, email, and also the password right here. Excuse me. And I also wanted to navigate when that's submitted, so we just want to navigate to like redirect, there we go. And also a toast of success will say like user successfully registered. Okay, I guess that would be fine. And now let's just save our file, and finger crossed. We write a lot of things right here, so I'm gonna just create a user name, Joe would be fine, and joe@gmail.com. And here I'm gonna just specify the password. I'm gonna provide a password of Joe, JOE123, JOE123. Let's just click on this register, and boom, here you can see we are now getting like user successfully registered. And here you can also see we are getting the username right here of Joe, and we can log out and we can go to the profile if you wanted to. So let's just right click on him and go to the inspect area, and go ahead and go to the application area, and here you can see our email is set to Joe. The user is not admin, so that's why we are getting the false. The username is set to Joe, and here is our unique ID right here. Let's just go to the cookie and check out the cookie, and this is how our cookie looks like right here. Okay, so which means like we are now successfully registering the user. But now let's just see a few things. If I didn't specify anything and click on this register button, we are now getting like please fill all the input fields. And let's just provide like something else, like I don't know, someone at gmail.com, and I want to provide like a wrong password, like someone12. And here inside the confirm password, I don't want to provide anything, so I'm going to just click on register, and it is now giving us like password do not match. And if I just write like, I don't know, apple@gmail.com or something like that, and click on the register, so we are now getting like password do not match. But if I provide I'm not going to provide actual password right here, because it will just generate, or it will create a new user for us, and we don't want that. So I'm going to just click on this login, and this is how we are going to be creating that. So I guess this placeholder isn't looking that much cool. I'm going to just delete this placeholder, I guess, or maybe not. Just maybe I'm gonna leave it there, but I'm not quite positive about that. So let's just select this placeholder right here, and I'm gonna hold Control and hit D one more time. Let's just select that and hit Control X to it, and save my file, and all of that input fields are now looking better. I don't know, man, if you like them, so let's just undo that if you like them, so you can leave it there, and if you don't like them, so you can just remove that. The next thing which I want to do is that I want to go to the login component or login screen right here, and I want to provide an image right here. So I'm going to give you a link in the description below, which will bring you to my GitHub repository, and you can get the links of their images from there. Or if you want to choose your own images, so feel free to choose that. Okay, so yeah, now let me just grab their images. I'm going to go ahead and go to the login screen and go to the bottom, and underneath this div, I'm going to just place this image right here with these classes right here. Let's just save that and wait for it. So let's, come on man, render the image already. We are now inside a login screen. Okay, there we go. So here you can see we are now getting this amazing screen or amazing image right here. Let's go ahead and provide one for the register as well. I'm gonna go ahead to the register, and I'm gonna go ahead and go to the bottom, and underneath this div I'm gonna place this image right here with these classes. Okay, so I'm gonna save this file and let's just wait for it to render, and this is how it looks like right here. So if you want to choose your own images, so feel free to choose that, but in my case that's cool. Now we successfully completed the login screen and also the register screen and also the logging in and logging out and all of that. And I guess next we are going to be working on a profile, the user profile. So now let's work with the profile screen, but before we get into the profile screen, first of all we have to make a private route because we don't want anybody to have access to our profile. Okay, so let's suppose if somebody have access to our profile, so they can change like our name or email or password, whatever they want. So we don't want that. First of all, let's just create our private route. So I'm gonna just write like a private route.jsx right here. So inside this private route, I'm gonna first of all write an RAFCE. Let's just remove that and let's just get or navigate first of all. So I'm gonna use like navigate. I'm gonna also get an outlet right here. Come on, outlet. From where? From the React router DOM. Come on, React router DOM, like so. And we also want to get or use selector because we are not like this, not this one. So we just want to get a use selector from where? From the React Redux right here. So now let's go ahead and go to our store and get all of the user information right here. Info, there we go, and it will be now equals to the use selector. So we just want to use our use selector, provide our state right here, and state.auth. So we are just interested in this auth. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove that and I'm going to just write like user info if we have the user info. So we just want to provide the outlet right here. So if you don't have the user info, so what do you want to do? We just want to navigate to where login component or login screen rather. Let me just provide a replace right here and close that. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that's our private route right here. So I'm going to save this file, and now let's just go ahead and go to our main screen right here, and I'm gonna go at the top right here and I'll just write like a private route, and let's just get our private route from where. Let's just go ahead and go to the, not that much, but we gotta go to the components, and then we have to select our private routes.jsx right here, and now let's use that. So inside this app right here, what I want to do is that I want to create a private route right here. So the path will go to nowhere, and we just want to provide the element element, and here we just want to specify our private routes right here. And now let's just close that like so. And the next thing which you want to do is that inside this private route, so what do you want to do? Let's just close this one as well, or not like that, but like this. Okay, so what do you want to do? We just want to provide a path, and the user should be able to go to the profile, but they have to be authenticated, then they would be able to go to the profile. Okay, so that's that. Now let me just provide the element, and let's just provide our profile right here, the profile component which we are going to be creating in a few seconds. Okay, so now let me just create a profile component right in here inside the user right here. Okay, so I'm going to just create a profile.jsx, and now I'm going to just write like RFCE, and let's just save that, and here let's just get that. Okay, so underneath that, what I want to do is that I want to get it right here. So I'm going to write like import profile from where. Let's just go ahead and go to the pages, and I want to go to the user right here, and inside there we are going to be just getting our profile.jsx right here. Let me just copy that, and I'm going to, oh, we already placed that right here. So now let's just save that and go ahead. You know what, first of all let me just log in as someone. So I'm going to log in as I don't know, orange. I'm going to log in as orange, so orange and 1 2 3, and go ahead and log in. So here you can see, let me just make that a bit smaller. So here you can see if I click on the profile, and now we are not getting any error right here, but instead we are getting something which is hidden underneath this what do we call it, this sidebar right here. So what I want to do for profile is that I want to get a few things. So I'm going to get like a use effect, and I also want to get the use stat, and now underneath that we are going to be getting our use dispatch, and I also want to get my use selector as well. And let's just grab our toastify. So let's just get our toast from where? From the React toastify. There we go. So next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to also get a loader from our loader component. and I also want to get something called a set credentials. Okay. And I also want to get a link from where, from the React router DOM, and that's cool. But I also want to go to my user API slice right here, and I want to register one more endpoint which will be for the profile. So let's just do that. So underneath this register, I'm going to write my profile, and it will be now equals to the builder mutation. And now let's just specify our query. Come on, query. And here we are going to be specifying some sort of a data. In this case, I'm going to specify the URL, and the URL will be this user URL right here. And let's just go to the profile right here. Let me provide my comma in there, and I'm going to also provide the method of put right here, because in this case we are going to be changing the data, so that's why we set the method to put. And I also wanted to provide the body, and here in lowercase, come on, in lowercase body, and it will be equal to the data right here. So now let's just save that, and we are not getting any errors, so let's just copy that and pass it right here as a hook. So like use profile mutation, so let's just copy that from here, from this use profile, and let's just go ahead and use it right here. So what I want to do is that I'm going to import this use profile mutation from, let's just go ahead 2 times and then go to the Redux. Then we want to go to the features, and then we want not features, man, but API. We want to go to the API, and inside this API we wanted to get the user API slice right here. So now what I want to do is that anytime we wanted to update the user profile, we want to get the username, set username, and it will be now equals to the use state. We just want to pass the empty string, and then now let's get the email. Set email will be equals to use state, and let's just pass our empty string. And then let's create one more for the password, and set password, and it will be equals to the use state, not selector, use state state, and let's just specify our empty string right here in this case. And also for confirm password, so confirm password, and it will be equals to set confirm password like so, and it will be now equals to the use select, not selector, use come on man, use state. There we go. I can't even type today. I don't know what's happening to my fingers, but they are hurting a lot. So now let me just get my user info, there we go, and it will be equals to use selector. And I'm getting a lot of these pop-up box. I gotta do something about these pop-up box right here. Anyways, so now let's just get that from the state and provide a state.auth. Now the next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get the update profile from where we're gonna take care of that a bit later. But now let me just pass the loading is loading, and now let's just change the name of that to loading update profile or something. Yeah, loading update, come on man, update profile like so, and it will be equal to the use profile mutation right here, which we just created a few seconds ago. So now underneath that we are going to be using the use effect, and here inside this use effect, what do we want to do? We just want to set the username to what? The user info. If we already have, yeah, we will have already the user info. Otherwise we won't be able to go to the profile screen. So let's just pass our username right here, and the use effect, what are we getting? React hook use effect contains a call to a use without a list of dependencies. Okay, we will provide a list of dependencies. Let me just provide a use email, and user info dot email. Let's just provide that. Provide our dependency array, so user info dot email, and also the user info dot username as well. So that's that. Now the next thing which you want to do is that we also wanted to create a dispatch. So I'm going to write like dispatch, and it will be equals to the use dispatch right here. And now let's just execute that. Okay, so I guess that would be it for grabbing the things. Alrighty, so now let's get into the JSX right here. So what I want to do is that I want to provide the class name of container first of all. Margin for the x-axis will be set to auto, and padding for all around will be set to 4, and padding for top, not padding but margin for top, will be equals to 10 rem. And inside this div, what do you want to do? We just want to create one more div, flex justify center and align center, and for medium screen we just want to change that to flex, and for the medium screen as well we just want to provide a space of x-axis 4. There we go. And I also want to provide the heading 2 of text to Excel, and font, come on, font will be semi bold, and margin for the bottom will be set to 4. Update, come on, update profile right here, save that. And here you can see we are getting our profile right here. Underneath this h2, we just want to get our form, and we will provide our handler in a few seconds. But first of all, let me just provide, oh, you know what, we're not going to be providing anything to that. Let's just create our div with a class of margin bottom of 4, and inside there we are going to be creating a label with a class of, like, I don't know, block. Text will be set to white, and margin bottom will be set to 2. For the HTML4, we are not going to be providing that. And let's just provide some sort of a label like name, and let's just provide our input, and our input will be set to text. Provide our placeholder, enter name, and I'm going to also provide a class name of, like, form input, and also padding for all around will be set to 4, rounded, and yeah, rounded small, and width will be totally full. Okay, so that's that. Now underneath that, we are going to be also specifying the value of username, and also the on change will be equals to the event object, and set user and name. Set username will be set to e.target.value right here. So now let's just save that, and we are getting that, but that's looking amazingly awful. Oh, you know what, I'm gonna have to copy that, cut that from here, and let's just write our md, and width will be arbitrary value, so I'm gonna have to write 1 or 3, and inside this div we have to specify all of that content right here. Now let's just save that, and this is how it looks like right here, and we are getting our username right here, cute little username, orange. Okay, so yeah, it is working. So next thing which you want to do is that we gotta duplicate that. So we want to duplicate that for email, and also for password, and confirm password as well. So let's just check it out. So we have our name right here. Let's just change that to email in this case. So write an email, and change this one to email, and enter your email, or enter email. Here we have to specify the email, and here instead of writing a set username, we are going to be using the set email rather. And now let's just work for the password, and also this one will be equals to password, and password like so. And let's just pass our password right here. And the next thing is that let's just write our set password right here. And now let's just write for the confirm password. Okay, and let's change that to password. Type to password, and confirm password. And let's just change the value to confirm password, and change this value to set confirm password, bang. I'm going to save this file, and here you can see we are now getting the orange, we are getting the email, and we did not provide a password and confirm password, so that's why we cannot see that. Anyways, that's looking amazing. Let's just provide our button right here at the end. So underneath this div, what I want to do is I wanted to create a div with a class of flex and justify between. Okay, so now inside there we are going to be creating 2 buttons. The first one will be type submit, and also the class name will be background totally pink 500, and also the text will be totally white. The padding for the y-axis will be set to 2, padding for the x-axis will be set to 4, and totally rounded. And once we hover over it, so what do you want to do? We just want to change the background to pink 600 in this case, so 600 background totally pink. So now let's just change that to update, save that, and now let me just I'm gonna duplicate that. Oh, you know, we are not going to be duplicating that. Instead we are going to be using the link like so, and let's just close that, and this link will go to, first of all, the user orders, and I'm going to also specify the class name of background totally pink 600. Come on, pink 600, and also the text will be totally white, and padding for the x-axis, y-axis will be 2, padding for the x-axis will be set to 4, and totally rounded. And I'm going to also provide the hover state to it, so like when somebody hover over it, so the background will be pink 700 in this case. Okay, and my orders, we are not going to be taking care of the orders right now, but we will just provide it right here. So if I click on the update, oh, we cannot update that because we didn't specify anything right here. And if I click on the my orders, so it will just brings us to my orders. which we are going to be creating very later, not right now. Alrighty, so that's that. Now underneath this div, what do you want to do? We just want to write our loader right here. Loading update profile. If the profile updating is loading, so we just want to pass our loader right here. Save my file, and let's just attach our event listener right here on this form. So what I want to do is that I'm going to write on submit, and on submit will be equal to the submit handler. And now let's just create that submit handler right in here. Okay, so const on submit handler async provide our event object. Inside there, we are going to be first of all preventing the default behavior, and the next thing which we want to do is that we want to check if the password is not matched to confirm password. So what do you want to do in that case? We just want to toast or error, so toast error, and we just want to provide password. Passwords do not match. What if that's not the case? So what do you want to do? You just want to provide our else clause and provide our try and catch blocks right here. And for the catch block, we are going to be using toast.error, and let me just provide the error if you have one, and error.data if you have that. Then message, or we gotta use the error.message. Come on man, message. There we go. So for the try block, what do you want to do? We just want to get the result first of all, and we are going to be just setting that to await update profile, which we are getting, I guess. Yep, we are getting the update profile right here. And now let me just place it right here. So I'm going to just specify this data, like first of all we got to provide the ID to it, like a user info. Come on, user info, and we just want to get the user ID from it, and we want to provide that. And the next thing which we want to do is that provide a user email, username and email, and also the password of the user. Okay, so that's looking cool, and we have to unwrap that, and that's done. Okay, so now let's just dispatch that. So I'm going to use dispatch, and I'm going to specify the set credential. Come on man, credentials. And for the set credentials, we are going to be specifying the entire result right here, dot and result. And underneath that, if everything went successful, so we just want to provide a toast of success, and we just want to see profile updated successfully. There we go. I'm gonna save this file, and let's just try it. So instead of writing a make, or I mean like orange fruit, okay, so I want you to just look at this area. If I click on update and banger, here you can see we are now getting that update, I mean like profile updated successfully, and we are also getting this orange fruit right here. Let's suppose if you want to change the, I don't know, email, so I'm gonna just change that to like orangefruit@gmail.com. so if I click on update, and here you can see profile successfully updated. So let's just remove them, and now let me just log in as orangefruit@gmail.com, and I'm gonna write like orange123 and click on sign in, and here you can see it will now brings us to, and here you can see our email right here. If I open my application tab, so let's just go ahead and go to the application tab. I can click on that and go to the application tab. Let's just close this one. Gotta go to the local storage, click on that, and here you can see the email is now changed to orange fruit right here. Okay, so yeah, that's looking amazing, and this is working totally fine. You can also change your password if you wanted to. So I'm gonna just change the password to like orange fruit 123, orange fruit 123. Let's just click on the update, and successfully updated. Let's just close this one, orange fruit, and then orange fruit 123. Click on sign in, and here you can see it will now successfully sign in right here. Let's just go ahead and check it out and go to the application tab one more time, and you cannot see the password. Yeah, you cannot see the password, but yeah, you just gotta trust me on this one. We successfully updated the password as well. If you click on the orders, we don't have any orders yet, so it will not show us anything. Anyways, so that was it about for the profile. Next, we are going to be working with the admin routes. By admin routes, I simply means that only admin would be able to access them. Nobody else can, okay, or nobody else will. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and go to the admin folder, and I'm going to create my admin routes. First of all, route.jsx right here. So I'm going to write my RAFCE, save my file, bang, bang, bang. Everything is looking cool. The next thing which I want to do is that I want to go to the main, and I want to get that admin routes right here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the admin route, and let's just grab that. The next thing which I want to do is that I'm going to go right here underneath these register and all of that. Or you know what, let's just cut both of them out, and let me just place them right here. Save my file, and let's just provide our admin routes right here. So I'm gonna just write like authenticated route or restricted, or you know, I'm not gonna write any comments right here. Let's just write a comment for this one, like admin routes right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just specify my route. It will go to let's just provide a path of, come on, the path of admin right here, and the element I'm going to be specifying like the element of element. Let me just specify the element of admin route right here, and now let's just close that. So that's that. Now inside this admin routes, what do you want to do? We just want to provide something, but we will take care of that in a few seconds. First of all, let's go to the admin routes and create them. So the first thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get my navigate, first of all, not navigation, but navigate, and I also want to get the outlet from where? From the React router DOM, and underneath that we are going to be also getting the use selector from the, not this one, come on man, use selector, there we go, from the React Redux, there we go. Redux. And yeah, let's just get our information like a user info from where? From our Redux store. It will be equals to use select, and we just want to get the state, and state will be a state which we are going to be getting is from a state.auth, and let's just excuse me, let's just return our data right here. So if we have the user info and the user info dot is admin, the user should be admin. First of all, we are checking for the user information. We would have to have the user information, and we are also checking the user should be like a user, and the user should also be an admin right here. Then what do you want to do? We just want to provide our outlet right here, OUT and LET. Let's just close that. And if it's not the case, so what do you want to do? We just wanted to navigate our user to where? To our logging screen. So log in, there we go. And I want to replace the replace like so, and I'm gonna close that right here, save our file, and this is how everything looks like right here. So I'm gonna just close this file right here, and now what I want to do is that I wanted to go ahead and go to that admin folder one more time, and I want to create a user list right here. So user list.jsx right here, and we are going to be writing our user list right here. Save my file, and inside there we are going to be rendering our user list. So I'm going to just write like a route, and path will be equals to the user list, and here we just want to specify the element, and element will be user list. There we go. It will just auto complete it for us, and now let's just save that right here. So let's just check it out. There we go. So we already have a user list. So what I want to do is that I'm going to just log out, because currently we cannot see that user list right here. We would have to log in as an admin right here. So I'm going to write a user, or not user, but HuXn123, hit enter, and it will just log in as an admin. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on this users right here, and here you can see it will now brings us to this user list right here. So we don't have anything right now, but we will take care of that in a few seconds. So the first thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get my use effect, and I also want to get the use stand, and I also wanted to get a lot of icons like FA trash. I also want to get the FA, come on, FA edit, and FA check, FA times. From where? From the React icons, and let's just go ahead and grab that from the FA folder. And the next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get my loader. Let's just grab the loader, and I also want to import a lot of other things. Well, you know what, we're going to take care of that in a few seconds, but first of all, let me get my toast. From where? From the React toastify, there we go. So what I want to do is that first of all, I'm going to go into that components right here, and now let me just create one more component of message.jsx right here. So inside this message component, I'm going to use on a FCE. Inside this message component, it will take a few parameters, or yeah, props, whatever you want to call that. And now let's just restructure these params, or props, man, not params. variant, and now let's just use that. So what I want to do is that I'm going to first of all create a function inside this component right here, which will say like get variant variant class, like so. And inside this function, what do you want to do? We just want to use a switch and cases right here. So switch and variant, and if that's if the case is success, succeeds. So what do you want to do? We just wanted to return the background of totally green and 100 right here, and also we want to provide the text of totally green of add 100. Come on man, add 100 right here. Okay, so that's that, and we don't want any breaks, so I'm gonna just remove that break from here. And now let me just provide one more case. So if the case is error, so what do you want to do in that situation? We just want to return the BG, or the background color of totally red of 100, and the text should be equals to red, and add 100 right here. And for the info case, what do you want to do? So we just want to write a case of info, and here we are going to be just writing for the info case, or we're not going to be providing any info case. What the hell? Let's just provide the return right here for the default, and we are going to be writing the BG of totally blue of 100, and the text will be equals to blue of 800 right here. And now let me just use that right here. Let's just remove that, provide a class name of this dynamic class name. So I'm going to just specify padding for all around 4 and totally rounded. And now let me just provide get variant classes, and now let's just execute that. Okay, so I'm going to specify my children, which you are going to be getting, and now let's just use that children right here. So I'm going to save this file, and that's it for the messages, or message. I'm going to remove that from here, and now let's just work with our user list right here. But before we getting into the user detail in a really great depth, I wanted to configure my user API slice right here. Okay, so now let me just configure my endpoints right here. So the first thing which I want to do, or I'm going to just do that right away. We are not going to be going back and forth, so I'm going to just do all of them right away. So I'm going to use like get users, there we go, and let me provide my builder query. Okay, so for the builder query, what do you want to do? We just want to specify the query, and I'm going to just specify my URL right here. So the URL will be equals to just this user's URL right here. I'm going to provide a comma, and underneath that, or here, we are going to be also providing the provided tags, and it will be equals to just a user right here. Let me provide one more comma, and I'm going to provide a keep unused data for. Okay, so let's just set that to 5. So this is going to be the get user query right here, and then we have a delete user, and delete user will be equals to builder.mutation. Okay, because we are going to be deleting the user, so it is a mutation, so we have to specify the query, the user ID. It will require the user ID, as we learned that in the backend, and I'm going to also show you that in a few seconds. So I'm going to have to specify the URL, and let's just specify the user URL right here, and we specifically want to go to the user ID. So we will get that ID from yeah, you will see that. You will see that, but first of all, let me just provide the comma right here, and underneath this URL, what do you want to do? We just want to provide a method of delete right here. Okay, and provide a comma here and provide a comma there. Okay, so now underneath this delete user, what do you want to do? We just want to create one more, which will be for get user details. Okay, get user details, provide a builder and mutation, or is that a, no, we don't have to specify the mutation, it should be query. And let's just specify our query, and I'm going to pass the ID right here. And what else? Let's just execute that, and here we are going to be just specifying the URL, and the URL will go to the user, come on, uppercase user URL right here, and let me just use the backslash of ID. Okay, so let's just write our ID right here, and underneath that, let me use the keep unused data for, and let's just pass 5 in this case too. I always forget this comma at the end. Let me just provide one more comma right here, and I guess this is going to be the final one for the updating the user. So I'm going to just use like update user, and let's just use builder.mutation, and inside this builder mutation we are going to be using the query, and data will be equal to this method, and the URL, I'm going to be specifying the URL of the user URL like so, and it will go to the data.user ID endpoint right here. So now you might be thinking like, HuXn, where is this data coming from? it is coming from the perimeter right here. Okay, so you will see that in a few seconds. And the next thing which I want to do is that I want to provide a method of put right here, and also the body will be set to data. Okay, and here let me just write my comma, and invalid tags will be equals to the user. There we go. So now I'm going to save this file, and now we have to create a hooks for them. So we want to create a hook for get user, delete user, get user detail, and also for updating the user. The first one was use get user user's query. The second one was for the use delete user mutation, and the third one was for the use get user, yeah, something on that line. So get user, if I can get them, and use get user details. Yep, this one. And the final one was for use update user mutation right here. And I want to make sure that I didn't mess up something. Use update user mutation, use update user, and it is mutation. Yep, that error is gone, and now we would be able to get them. So what I want to do is that I'm going to copy all of them out, and I want to go to, let's just close this profile. I want to go to the user list right here, and I want to import them. So underneath this toast, I'm going to use import and get all of them from where? From let's just go ahead 2 times, go to the Redux, then we want to go to the API. Come on, let's just go to the API, and then we want to go to the user's API slice right here and save that. Okay, so that's going to be it, but I guess we don't need that get user detail in this component, and we also, yeah, other than that everything is fine. So now let's just use it right here inside our component. So the first thing which I want to do is that I wanted to get the user query. So let's just use data, and let's just rename their data to users is loading. Come on. And I also want to get the error if we have one. Let me use the use get user query right here, and now let's just execute that. Underneath that, we are going to be using the delete user right here, and it will be coming from the use delete user mutation. And now let's just execute that too. And the next thing which we want to do is that we want to register our hooks right here. Okay, so we are going to be writing const and then a table user ID, and then we have to change that to use a day, come on, DITABLE user ID, and it will be equals to the use stat, and currently it will be set to no. Okay, so underneath that, we are going to be also changing that to like editable username, and then we have a set editable user what username, and it will be equals to use stat, and we are going to be also passing, or in this case we are going to be specifying the empty strings right here, and const, and let's just use a editable user email like so, and then set editable user, remove the name and set that to email. Okay, and it will be also equal to the use stat of totally empty strings right here. Okay, so underneath that, what we are going to be doing is that we also wanted to get the, let's just cut that from here and paste it right here. We also wanted to get the update user, so update user from where? From the use, come on, use update user mutation right here. Okay, so let's just use or use effect right here. So for use effect, what do you want to do? We just want to refetch. Okay, refetch and execute that, and we also want to provide the dependency array of refetch like so, and I guess that would do it. But we are gonna have to create a lot of functions right here. We will do that in a few seconds, but first of all, let's just write a lot of our JSX right here so that we can even see something. So the first thing which I want to do is that let's just remove that and change the class name of the div to padding all around will be set to 4, and inside that div we are going to be writing h1 with the class of text of 2xl, and I'm going to also provide the font of semi bold, and the margin for the bottom will be set to 4, and users right here. So if I save that, and here you can see that user right here, but you will see that in a few seconds. Alrighty, so underneath this h1, what do you want to do? We just wanted to check is loading. If it's loading, so what do you want to do? We just want to provide our loader. Okay, and if it's not loading and if it's error, so what do you want to do in the error stage? So we just want to pass our message right here. MESSAGE, but we didn't get that message, did we? Or let's just close it right here. And I want to make sure that we get the message right here. Let's just go back, import the message from the message component. Go ahead 2 times to the components, and let's just get our message right here. So if it's error, so what do you want to do? We just want to provide that message, and for the variant we are going to be specifying the danger variant will be equals to just danger danger, like so. And if that's not the case, so we just want to finally not like that, we don't have to close it like this, we have to specify some sort of a message right here. Okay, so I'm going to specify the message of like error if you have one. So we just want to get the data of that error and also the message which is inside the data. Otherwise we just want to get the error message. So outside from that, if you don't get any error, if you don't get any loading, so then it means like everything is successfully working. So we just have to render our content right here. So if you wanted to render our content, why are we getting this error? Let's just leave it there. Let's just leave it there. And I'm going to write my JSX right here. So I'm going to write my div first of all, and let's just provide a class name of what? Flex and flex column. For the medium screen, it will be flex row. Okay, so save that. But why in the world we are getting this error? Let me just cut that from here, and now let me just save that. And underneath that, we shouldn't get any error, or should we? I guess I'm gonna have to pass it here. Oh, I just realized that we didn't specify the question mark right here. Okay, so if we have some sort of an error, then print that error. If not, then remove that and print this code result right here. What am I even doing, HuXn? Let's just go back. Let's just totally go back right here to this point. And here, what I want to do is that I wanted to provide a question mark right here right away. And now let's just use this JSX right here, and that's looking better. Okay, HuXn, you're amazing. Yeah, I know that just shut out. Okay, and now inside that, we are going to be rendering something called the admin menu, but later, not right now. So let's just create our table. So let me create a table with a class of width full, and also for the medium screen it will be the width of 4 or 5, and I'm going to also provide a margin for x-axis will be set to auto. Inside this table we are going to be writing our t head. Okay, and now let's just close that, and then inside this t head we are going to be writing the tr, and inside this tr we are going to be using our th right here. Okay, so I am going to provide ID in this case, and I'm going to also specify the class name of padding for the x-axis will be set to 4, and padding for the y-axis will be set to 2, and text will be set to totally left. Okay, so save that, and I'm going to just duplicate that a few times, and let's just change the ID to name, change the ID to email, and also change the ID to admin right here. Okay, so let's just remove this one from here, save our file, and we are getting the ID email, I mean like ID name and email. But what's going on with these users right here? We will take care of that a bit later anyways, or we can just totally remove their users right here from, or you know what, let's just leave it right here for now, but we will take care of that a bit later inside this table. But underneath this t head, what do you want to do? We just want to write a t body, and inside this t body we just want to render our users. Okay, so we just want to use like users.map. We want to iterate over through all of the users, and we just want to provide JSX for them. So we are going to be using the tr, and let's just close that. I'm going to provide a key to it, and the key will be user.id. And inside this tr, what do you want to do? We just want to provide the td. Okay, so let's just write td. Inside this td, or you know, let's just give a class of padding for the x-axis of 4, padding for the y-axis of 2, and let's just use our user.id right here. Okay, so this is going to be our user id. Let's just save that, and here we are getting the user id. That's looking amazing. The next thing which we want to do is that we also want to get the username. So yeah, underneath this td, I'm gonna write my td one more time, padding for the x-axis 4, padding for the y-axis will be 2, and inside there we just want to write our editable user id, And here, what do you want to do? We just want to check that if we have the user ID. I mean, like if the editable user ID is equal to the user ID. So in this case, we just want to provide this JSX right here, which will be, first of all, let's just create our div with a class of flex, and we also want to create items, and let's just use our center. Okay, so like this one, and inside there, we are going to be using our input field with a class, or I mean, like with the type of text, and the value will be, come on, value will be set to editable editable user name. There we go. So that's that. Now let's just provide the on change attribute on it. So on change, and let's just use the event object, and then we have to just specify the set editable user ID, or not ID but user name right here. Okay, so now let's just execute that, and e.target dot value right here, and finally let's just provide a classes to it. So class name will be equal to, width will be set to totally full, and I'm going to also provide a padding all around will be set to 2, and border and also rounded large. Save this file, but guess what, we will get an error based on that. You know what, underneath this input field, what do you want to do? We just wanted to get our button, so I'm going to write a button, and I'm going to specify the on click handler on it, and we are going to be using the update, come on, update handler, which we are going to be creating in a few seconds, and it will take a user and the user ID right here. Okay, so inside this button, what do you want to do? We just want to provide a class right here. So let's just provide our class name, and the class name will be for margin left. We are going to be specifying 2. The background will be set to totally blue of 500, and text will be set to white. Padding for the y-axis will be set to 2. Padding for the x-axis will be set to 4, totally rounded and large. Okay, and let's just provide our icon right here, fa check, and close that. So if that's not the case, so what do you want to do? We just want to provide more JSX right here, like some other else clause right here. So we are going to be providing the flex, and items will be still set to center, and inside that we are going to be using our username dot what, come on, username, oh, not a username but just a user dot username. There we go. And here we just have to provide an empty space and create a button. This button will take on click event handler, and we are going to be providing our function right here, and it will say like toggle edit like so, and we are going to be specifying the user ID and also the user and username and user dot email right here. Email, just like just email, nothing else. What I want to do is that I'm going to write my fa edit and provide a class name to it. For margin left, I'm going to write like 1 rem, close that, and close this fa edit right here. Okay, so we didn't create this toggle edit, but we will create that in a few seconds. Okay, so that's that. If you check them out, so here you can see we have this John, we have mango, and we have every single thing right here, and that's looking amazing. But now we want to make it so once we click on it, so we just want to get an input field, and we would be able to change that. We would do that in a few seconds, but for that we'll have to create that. Anyways, we will create that in a few seconds. So underneath this one, I'm going to create a TD with a class of padding for the x-axis, and let's just provide a 4, and padding for the y-axis will be set to 2. Okay, and now I'm going to just specify the editable user editable user ID will be equals to the user and the actual ID. If that's the case, so we just want to run one result. If that's not the case, so then we want to run another result right here. So for this result, we just want to create a flex, and also the items will be set to totally center. Okay, but we gotta do that manually. We gotta do that manually, bro. We have to write flex items will be set to totally center, and inside that we are going to be writing our input, and here let's just provide our value right here. So I'm going to write my value editable user what, editable user email. Okay, and also I'm going to provide my own change, and it will take the event object and set editable user email, set editable user email like so, and e.target dot value. For the class, what I want to do is that I'm going to provide a class name of what, I'm going to provide a width of totally full, the padding all around will be set to 2, and border and rounded for large. Okay, so I guess that would do it. Underneath that we are going to be writing our button, let's just close this button, and we are going to be passing our on click method right here. And here let's just use our update handler right here, which we are going to be creating in a few seconds. It will take a user and the actual user ID right here. Okay, that's a lot of talking. That's a lot of talking. And inside there, or I also forgot to include the class names right here. So now let me just provide a few class names. So the margin for the left, I'm going to provide 2, and background will be set to totally blue 500, and text will be set to totally white, and padding for the y-axis will be 4 2, and padding for the x-axis will be set to 4. Rounded will be set to large. And inside this button, we just want to write fa check and close that. Okay, so that's it. And now let's just work on the else clause right here. Okay, so we are going to be just writing flex and also the item center. And inside that, we are going to be using some paragraph. And yeah, I guess, yeah, we will use that paragraph. And now let's just render or user dot email right here. Okay, so user email, underneath this paragraph we are going to be creating one button, and for that button we are going to be attaching the event listener right here, and we are going to take care of that toggle edit in a few seconds. So now let me just pass my ID, the user name, but not just singular name but a user name like that, and also the user email, email like so. And inside this button, what I want to do is that I want to write a fa edit, and I'm going to also specify the class of margin left for 1 rem right here. And now let's just close the semi file, and this is how it looks like right here. So we are getting the user email, and we are also getting these icons right here. So that's looking amazing. So now let's just take care of this admin area as well. So what I'm going to do is that let's just create one more TD, I guess. So underneath this TD, I'm going to create one more. So I'm going to write a TD with a class of padding for the x-axis of 4 and padding for the y-axis of 2. Separator there. And I'm going to also provide the user is admin if the user is admin. And what do you want to do in that case? We just want to provide the fa check, and we want to provide a style of color totally green. And now let's just close that. Okay, and also let me provide a separator right here, and fa times provide a style here as well, and color will be set to totally red, and also close this one as well. Okay, so that's there. Now underneath this TD, yeah, we are getting not admin, and HuXn is admin because HuXn is HuXn. HuXn is an amazing person. So that's why he's an admin. Alrighty, so yeah, we are getting every single thing that we need right now. But we also want to provide that icons right here. So let's suppose if you want to delete a single user, so we would also be able to do that. So underneath this TD, what I want to do is that I wanted to get my TD. Let me give him a class of padding for the x-axis of 4 and padding for the y-axis of 2. And inside there, I'm going to check if not user dot is admin and what. Now let's just use our flex right here, and inside this flex we are going to be creating our button, and this button will have this on click event listener on it, and we are going to be just passing our delete handler, which we are going to be also creating in a few seconds right here, which will take that ID. And now, and I also forgot the class name as well. And the class name I'm going to provide like background of totally red of 600, and hover when somebody hover over it, so we just want to change the background color of that to 700, and text will be totally white, and the font will be bold. And I'm going to also provide padding for the y-axis of 2, padding for the x-axis of 4 right in here. Okay, so, and yeah, I'm going to also make that rounded too, so totally rounded. And inside there we are going to be writing fa trash. Bang, save them, and here you can see we are getting all of that buttons right here. But for the admin, we cannot delete an admin right here because admin is a top G. So I guess I'm gonna just delete. Oh yeah, we can delete that because we can't even edit that, and we can't even delete that because we did not create a delete handler, we didn't create the toggle edit, we didn't create the update handler, and also the toggle and update handler. So now let's just create them. So the first thing which I want to do is that I wanted to create the delete handler. So I'm going to just write like delete handler, and it will be equals to the async and provide our ID to it. Okay, so let's just provide our ID, and we want to check if window dot confirm, and we wanted to make sure that the user or the admin do confirm that. So are you sure, question mark. So then what do you want to do? We just want to specify the try and catch blocks, and for the catch we are going to be using like toast.error, and we want to provide the error and then the message or the data and the message, or the error dot error, like so. And if that's not the case, so we are going to be just using like await and then delete user, and let's just specify our ID to it. Okay, and it is taking their ID right here. Let me just show you that, which is the user and ID. Okay, so what I want to do is that I'm going to just save this file, and let's just delete one user, like the moment of truth. I guess I'm going to just delete this John. Let's just click on him. Are you sure? Totally. And bang, refresh that, and here you can see John is totally gone. And let's just go ahead and check out our database right here. Let's just connect there once again. Check out our database. We have 5 users right here inside our database. We have Mango, we have Orange, we have John Doe, which is this John Doe, and we have HuXn and Joe. Alright, so we successfully deleted one user from our database, and it is working totally fine. The next thing which I want to do is that I wanted to toggle the edit. So I'm going to just write const and toggle edit, and it will take the ID, the username, and also the email. Okay, so in this case, what do you want to do? We just want to write a set editable user ID, and we just want to provide ID to it. So the next thing which I want to do is that set editable username, and for that we are going to be specifying the username, and then for set editable email, we are going to be writing our email right here. So if I save this file, let's just refresh that, and if I click on, I don't know, for the John Doe, and here you can see we are now getting this result, and we are also getting this result right here. Like both of them are now totally inputs, and that's looking amazing. So what I want to do, like currently we cannot do anything with that, but we want to make it so like if we change the data inside a name or in the email, so we just want to update that. So for that, let's just create our update handler right here. Const update handler, and it will be equals to the async and provide ID to it because it requires the ID. I'm gonna write my try and catch blocks, and for the error, or I mean like for the catch block, we are going to be using like toast and error. Come on, error, and I'm gonna specify the error dot data dot message right in here. And if that's not the case, so we are going to be specifying error dot error, like so. And for the try block, what do you want to do? We just want to use await update user, and here we just have to specify the user ID of ID, and also we want to provide the username of editable username. Where in the world is that editable user name? There we go. And we also want to provide the email, so we are going to be using like editable user email. So let's just provide that, and I guess that would do it. But underneath this update user, what do you want to do? We just want to use like set editable user ID, and we want to make that to null. And the next thing which we want to do is that we also want to refetch. Okay, so just refetch that, and boom. And what I want to do is that I wanted to change this orange fruit to just orange. So I'm going to just remove that and click on a check, and here you can see we are now getting just an orange right here. And now let's just check out this orange fruit, and now let's just remove this fruit from the at the end, and now let's just change that to, and just change that to orange, and click on this check. And so here you can see it is now totally changed to orange right here. Instead of a John Doe, I'm gonna just change that to like JD or something like that, jd@gmail.com, and click on check. And now let's just change this one to JD, like so, and click on a check. So here you can see everything is looking perfectly amazing. Alright, so I'm going to just delete this user from the database, and now let's just refresh that, and here you can see we are now getting all of these users right here. So that was it about for the users, and I know that was a lot of talking and that was a lot of stuff to take care of. So we just take care of the, what do we call it, this drop down component, the navigation, and we also take care of the profile, and we also take care of, what do we call it, just a single user. Now let me just log in as a single user, like I don't know, I'm gonna just log in as Joe, and Joe 123, and click on the sign in, and here you can see it will just successfully sign us in right here. So now I'm gonna just click on that, go to the profile, and here you can see we can just like change that to like Joe Goldberg or something like that. Goldberger. So I'm gonna just change that, and here you can see we are now getting every single thing that we need right here. Alright, so everything is successfully working, and I guess that's it. But now let me just take care of this flow byte thing. So I'm going to import that right here inside our project. And I just realized that we didn't plug in the flow byte in our project. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the tailwind configuration. And now let me just get my flow byte like so. And now let me just use that. I'm going to copy this flow byte right here and place it right here inside this plugin, save our file, and it should work from now on. Okay, so here you can see this input is now changed to this black kind of color right here. And the next thing which I want to do is that I want to provide a little bit of more styling to it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the index.css, and now let me just place this styling right here. So I'm going to just save my file, and this is how currently things looks like right here. Okay, so let's just go ahead and log in as, I don't know, as HuXn maybe. So I'm going to just write like HuXn 123 and hit enter. And now let me just make that a bit smaller. Everything is looking so smooth and amazing. So let's just go to the users. And that's amazing. So yeah, that was it about for the users. And in the next video, we are going to be taking care of the categories.